Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning here. And get ready to be happy, okay? Because you're not just going to have to deal with me tonight, all right? Nope. You're going to get some relief, okay? And that is going to be in the form of a very special guest that I got joining me tonight as we get Naked Gun and Afraid as we talk the new The Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson, all right? So it's one of those movies where people were like, how dare you remake The Naked Gun? That is sacrosanct. That is irreverent. How disrespectful. And then they saw the movie and they're like, all right, there you go. Maybe I shouldn't have wigged out like a little girl so fast, all right? But we're not talking about that quite yet, all right? Because first, this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Well, hello there, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. How the hell are you here this thirsty Thursday, this pre-Friday? We are almost to the weekend, all right? So it is no longer Monday, all right? It hasn't been Monday for a few days, so you should have had a chance to kind of come out of your Monday coma and get ready to talk some The Naked Gun here tonight on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, all right? And then real quick, just a reminder, you guys can get in the live chat. The live chat's available to everyone, all right? So regardless of name, color, creed, favorite NFL team, whether you're a Dolly Parton fan or not, you get the idea. So the live chat is available on Rumble and YouTube for everyone. So get in there, all right? Don't be a wanker and just watch the show and not live chat if you've got both hands free. All right, so there you go. You can always yank it later on. All right. Anyway, so on that yank mention right there, I'm sure he would love me introducing him. Following that right there, I tease you with the very fact that I have a very, very special guest on the show, and that is one Christopher J. Taylor, a.k.a. Crash Fury, as it says right there on the very screen. How the hell are you doing there, good sir?
Oh, yeah. Ha-ha. Good evening, Van. How are you, my man?
Oh, my bad. Much better now. All right. Now that I got you classing up the joint and adding some dignification, if that's a word, there. I appreciate you joining me. I'm very honored to have you on right here. And it's more fun, when we got company. But, we're going to talk some Naked Gun here tonight. But, hey, tell the good people watching at home, eating their TV dinners, a little bit about you, if you would, there, good sir.
Alrighty. Well, I'm a crazy Canadian. That's the first one to get out of the way there.
We're out of here. We're shutting this down.
Moved here in 2010 to New York City with my lovely wife and haven't looked back. Well, actually, we have, but it's pretty horrifying. So we just move on. Originally 22 years in film and television production in Vancouver. Then I went off a little while and did a little stint with the oil companies there out on the rigs, and then back into media and television stuff in New York City, all kinds of radio stuff, all kinds of voiceover stuff. And we had to do it, but we had to start our own podcast station, so we did. And the rest has kind of been 15 years of that. Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha. So then you were with Fox for a little bit, right? Is that Fox News or is that
we were with Fox News for a while doing contribution to their national stuff and their affiliate stuff in Nevada and Arizona.
Okay.
A little bit in New Mexico, and I think that's the end of the list for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if maybe part of your job was telling Steve Ducey not to be such a pussy. I don't know, but
you know what?
That guy gets on my nerves.
Yeah, technically it wasn't part of the job, but I still did it.
There you go. Well, yeah. God bless you for going above and beyond right there. Yeah, I watched him, especially during COVID, and I'm like, my God, does that dude have a dick? And he's hiding tits underneath that suit right there? Because he is such a puss. Go out there and get your COVID vaccine. Make sure you do it. Otherwise, you'll kill grandma. Oh, hey, by the way, here's my cookbook with the whitest recipes of all time. He's like cornier than Kansas on the 4th of July. Matter of fact, he was from Kansas. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And,
yeah. Well, they had to come up with an answer to Regis Philbin, right? So...
Right.
You got how do you go against that? Well, you got to have something like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like Steve Ducey, the prehistoric Ryan Seacrest that we all hate. So yeah.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead there, man.
Well, that's really it. The only other claim to fame, I guess, I have is I'm the guy who actually started Lionsgate Studios back in the day.
Oh, yeah. You said you had some background on that or something like that. Because, Lionsgate, we know. A lot of people probably know them best for like the John Wick movies nowadays. So,
yeah. Well, and still a healthy percentage of that market. Yeah. Yeah, no, I pretty much single-handedly came up with the entire concept. Right down to the facilities, the job creation. I was the guy running around Vancouver, knocking on doors in 1996, getting all the industry behind it, which I did. I got the government on board. Holy Christ. Like, really? Yeah, wow. I did. Did all that stuff, had like a world award winning architect come in and do all the 3D modeling and everything for us for our presentations to the billionaires. And yeah, it was good. We had the site picked out right adjacent to the airport. Like, what could be better? It was just insane. And pretty much 2 years almost of putting the whole thing together, talking to the billionaires. But you know what? I got news for any of you entrepreneurs out there. Well, it actually, and kind of like Shark Tank, right? Those guys, man. The deals they do, right?
Right.
You will never win. In the world of the billionaires, you will never win. They always have a way to take everything you're doing and go do it.
Right.
Yeah. That was a little hard to take after all that. And God, I had like pretty much a volunteer staff of about 90 people that invested pretty much the same time amount of time as I did in the whole project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they just throw like a mountain of lawyers at you? I mean, how did that all go down?
Yeah,
I mean, just for any potential entrepreneurs that might be watching live or later on right there, because it's not enough to have a great idea. You don't have a great business plan and all that stuff. I mean, you gotta be a shark, right? You gotta be an asshole, basically.
Exactly.
That's the story I've heard from a lot of entrepreneurs. Like, they're too nice.
I'm
not saying that was your problem, but
no. Well, absolutely not. In fact, if I was, things might have gone differently. But went through a whole bunch of pitches with a whole bunch of money people. Finally got the sit down with David Black and Frank Geistra, and did the pitch with them. They actually brought 20 lawyers to the pitch with them. Others brought lawyers, but not that many. These guys had an army with them, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny you use that term asshole, because when we finished the pitch and we're walking out of the meeting, he puts his arm around me, and we're walking out the front door of the conference center, and he says, "I bet you think I'm a real asshole, don't you?" And I thought that was a totally weird, off the wall question. No, why would I think that? Well, 4 months later, I found out why I think that.
Yeah. I just don't get that. I mean, it's just like, I read like entrepreneur books sometimes there. What was the one I was reading one literally about blitz scaling, there, and it wasn't like completely about being an entrepreneur, but it's more about like if you want to start a company, like you can't be afraid to like go and get as much money as you need, like right off the bat. Like don't like if you're going to start a company, don't pussy around and go, I'm going to build it like a little bit at a time. Like go out there, get the capital, get it built fast. If you think that you need money and you even think that a little bit, go out and get the money now. Don't hesitate. That's the difference between the guys that are successful and the guys that aren't. Or the guys that are successful are the ones like, fuck it, I'm getting the money right now. I don't care. I don't care if there's a big risk or anything like that, or it's going to be my ass. I don't care. I want this thing to happen. I'm going out there right now. Not tomorrow. Not today. Yesterday, I'm going out and get it. And that book is all about that, but it's also about like having that kind of that. They don't call it an asshole mindset, but just like go out there, be driven, be focused. If anybody gets in your way, fuck them, run them over, like that kind of thing. So, in so many words, and so I think a lot of people go into that. I mean, I wonder if like that very same asshole. I wonder if early in their career they got fucked, and there's like, all right, they learned a valuable lesson, and they learned, all right, well, I can't be the nice guy anymore. I'm just spitballing here, but I'm sure there's probably a story out there of some shark, some entrepreneur, somebody like, Mark Cuban or whoever, or Kevin O'Leary, where they're like, well, yeah, I used to be a really, really nice guy. Like, gee, Willikers, I sure would like to start this business there, Mr. Lawyer, but, now they're like, yeah, you know what? Hey, you know what? If you don't give me what I want right now, I'm going to sick my team of 100 lawyers, to do a colonoscopy on your ass, or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah. No. The interesting thing is I got pretty good legs to stand on as far as going back to them. The original project was named Pacific Studios. That was the original project name. And we knew they took it for a number of reasons. One, they broke ground 4 months after having the pitch meeting with us. Two, they actually had the balls to go to that architect and those lawyers that we had and the Goldman Sachs financial advisor that we had, and go to those people. And then they rounded up the other people, like, because I had the unions on board with this Pacific Studios project, the whole 9 yards. And they went around and reignited the flame under these people's asses with essentially, we're moving ahead with this, you're either with us or you're not kind of thing. So kind of in fairness, they did keep the people involved in the project. It just didn't happen to include me. And the interesting thing is after they began operations, the whole project was $660 million. That was the price tag on it right from the get-go, right? And the real kicker, the thing that really just sets it perfect is I included, of course, a 5-year business plan, right?
Yeah, sure.
Every single projection that I had done for their market share and their profits every year for that first 5 years, they nailed exactly. So they were following my blueprint.
Right, yeah. Stealing your moves, literally.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm much better now. Yeah,
there you go. Exactly. Yeah, you live, you learn, you get loves. Oh, wait, that's a diaper commercial. Never mind. So yeah. But I'm looking at somebody that Lionsgate's biggest movies. I'm not trying to rub it in your face or anything like that, but yeah, like I didn't know they had La La Land in their repertoire. Okay, so I see like obviously I mentioned John Wick. Yeah. A little La La Land, Rambo. Is that Rambo one that came out like in 2008? The really bloody one. I mean, they're all bloody, but this one was like, holy shit.
The barn scene. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh that. Yeah. That was the last one with Last Blood. Yeah, that one was good. I like that one. That was kind of like a Rambo version of Home Alone.
Yes, exactly.
Yo, wet bandits! I'm down here, wet bandits. Come and get some.
I love it, man.
Like, hey, well, he took that guy's head off with a clothes iron. Oh my god!
So, what about Naked Gun? What's going on?
The Naked Gun. Oh, I'm so happy. You know what? Did you have a chance to see it?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't mind spoilers.
I love spoilers. Go ahead.
I mean, it's like it's a spoof movie. It's not like it's some political thriller where you don't want any spoilers. It's a spoofy movie and that kind of thing. But The Naked Gun. I mean, I am so glad I was wrong about this movie. This movie, I still are coming out with a reboot of it, and I hold the original trilogy of the Naked Gun movies in high regard. Even Naked Gun 2.5, that one right there. So I think it was The Final Insult or whatever that one was called. And I held it was in those in high regard. I grew up with those movies, and so I was like, "What are you're rebooting this? Oh wait, and you're rebooting it with Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin. Liam Neeson with Oscar fucking Schindler. Like."
It's funny.
Brian Mills in the Taken movies. What? So
yeah. When I first saw the trailer for that, I was like, when somebody kind of comes along and pisses and shits all over something you really like, which is the case most often. Every time we see people like, oh, we're doing a reboot, right? And we're going to cast Buckwheat as the role of John Rambo, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
So I see this trailer. I'm like, oh no, please don't destroy it, right? And then of course you see Liam Neeson obviously is Frank Drebin, and you're like, wait a minute, what are they doing? Is this a Mel Brooks film? What's going on? So I gotta say, after seeing that trailer the first time, I was just kind of like in shock. I kind of couldn't believe it. But then as time gone on, there was more sneak peeks and whatnot that were coming out. It was like, okay, all right, yeah, I can see this going. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would have had more faith in it if I would have known who was behind the reboot there, because I didn't know it was the Lonely Island Boys. They're the ones who did on Saturday Night Live. They did the Dick in the Box song there, and then they also did a movie called Popstar, Never Stopping, which is came out I think like a little over 10 years ago. It was a really good movie with Andy Samberg playing like a Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake kind of pop star. It's kind of like a mockumentary or a rockumentary, like This Is Spinal Tap or CB4, something like that. So that movie was really funny and underappreciated. Not a whole lot of people have seen Popstar, but that was really good. So I've only known it was them and Seth MacFarlane producing it from Family Guy and the Ted movies, then I wouldn't have felt so bad. Like, oh, okay, this has potential. Okay, I could see this maybe work, and it's not going to be exactly like Zaz made, Abraham Zucker, who made the original Naked Gun movies, but it doesn't have to be in order to be funny. And this movie proves that case. It didn't have to be exactly like theirs to be funny. It does borrow a lot from their movies, because it is one of those movies where it has a lot of sight gags, a lot of verbal, a lot of puns, a lot of just a lot of like obvious stupid sophomoric humor, but intentionally so. And I shouldn't say stupid. I mean, I think it's actually a smart movie, just with dumb jokes, if that makes any sense whatsoever, because they know what they're doing. So that's why I say it's a smart movie. They're well aware that, when they have a line, they're like Liam Neeson's like, man, this sucks, man. We have to fight City Hall. And then his partner's like, you can't fight City Hall. It's a building, stuff like that. Or, hey, Pamela Anderson, good talking to you. Hey, take a chair. It's like, no, I already have plenty of chairs at home. Like, it's just, just stupid stuff like that. And they know that that's stupid and sophomoric. So that's why I don't think they're dumb for this movie. But it does borrow stuff like that. It's not like I said, it's got a lot of sight gags. It even, pays reference to the first Naked Gun, with nice beaver, and then you're like, oh, thanks, I just had it stuffed. And then they have a part in this movie where Frank Drebin walks by a stuffed beaver, so, and you see that like, aha, I know where that's from, so it's a little callback, but it's not so much, where there's like, stuffed beaver over there, like they're not winking at it. So if you're like Gen Z or Gen Y, you've never seen the original, you're none the wiser. It doesn't ruin the movie for you there. But they do throw some different stuff in there, like stuff that Zaz wouldn't do, like what the Lonely Island guys would do, where they have like this really jacked up romantic. I guess it's like in the first Naked Gun, the scene where they're walking out of the movies laughing, and it shows Platoon, on the marquee, and then they're running on the beach and they clothesline the other couple and that kind of thing. So they have a whole monologue, not a monologue, montage. There we go, montage like that. But it's even more psychotic than that in this one. And I was watching it like, yeah, that's vintage Lonely Island Boys, content, and something jacked up and warped like they would come up with. I don't think Zaz would come up with something like that. So there's little differences. All in all, I'd have to say it's worth going to see at the theaters, just because, yes, you could watch it on streaming, but there's only one way to send a message to the studios to make more of these movies and put them in theaters there, because I like watching this in the theaters. I like the idea of people watching movies like this in the theater, because you're in the theater, everyone's like cracking up, right? Everyone's laughing their ass off together, and you're looking around the theater and everyone's laughing. You're like, I was like, kind of looking, hey, did you get that joke? Yeah, I know, I got it too. I mean, it's kind of it's a good time, communal experience, and you just don't get that at home watching on live streaming, scratching your nutsack. It's like I get it. Like at home, it's nice to be able to pause it and then, hey, I got to go take a leak, or something like that. But this movie is only 85 minutes long, so if you can't hold it for 85 minutes, there's some quality adult diapers that I could recommend for anybody that might need. So, but it's a good movie. I was pleasantly surprised that it was better than I was expecting there, and Liam Neeson. He does a good job, because the reason he does a good job is because he plays it straight and serious, just like Leslie Nielsen did in the original. You can't act like you're in on the joke. You got to be serious and stoic and kind of play the straight man and that kind of thing. But I think you'd like it there. I think you'd like it. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as soon as I get
time.
Yeah,
you bet. Yeah. Did you see the original Naked Guns there, like back in the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, big fan. I had actually, it's interesting that I'm talking to you about this now, because I used to have a best friend. His name was Glenn Lindsay, and he actually looked quite a bit like you, and he sounds quite a bit like you.
My condolences.
I know. Yeah. And we that was our thing. Like pretty much every Friday, he and I would just drop whatever we're doing and go down to the theater and see the latest, biggest, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so we were both movie nuts when we were young. This was like, God, I think I was 13. And we were doing that all the time, and it's kind of so we went through all that stuff when it originally came out, and it was just really, it was really top level entertainment, even if the content was bottom feeder.
Sure, right, yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's one of those things you gotta you gotta pay attention to there, and but with that, like the Naked Gun movie, you really gotta pay attention to if you want to catch all the jokes in it. But even if you don't catch all the jokes, it's not a big deal. You can watch it over again. But I like stuff like one of the things that they want to have done in the original ones is they do give Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin Jr., not the original Frank Drebin, but Leslie Nielsen's character's son in this, and he goes off on this whole monologue about how he let Pamela Anderson's character, I think it's like her name is Beth Davenport, he let her borrow his old TiVo machine, and they're talking about the case and the murder, and Frank's like, before we talk anything more about the case, there's one thing we have to address. And then he goes over and he picks up the old TiVo machine that he let her borrow. And he's like, did you plug this into the internet? I told you not to plug this into the internet. I don't think I don't think I did. Well, what is this Ethernet cable doing in this TiVo box right here? I see it. Clearly, it looks like you plugged it into the internet. Well, thanks to you plugging it into the internet, it probably wiped out all my old Buffy episodes. All right, it just goes up with this whole monologue. Hell, he's not gonna be able to watch old Buffy episodes because she hooked it up to the internet,
Right,
and all that. And she's like, but they would never. That's a monologue they would have never done in the original ones right there. It's just it's smart, and then some other things there, like I think like another thing I like is at the very beginning there's a bank robbery, and it's the same one you see in the trailer, and they play it straight. This bank robbery does remind me of the beginning of The Dark Knight, the big bank heist in the beginning of The Dark Knight. The Joker's there, and that which does not kill you makes you stranger. That whole bank robbery sequence, and they play it like that in The Naked Gun, and all of a sudden you see this little girl with this big lollipop, dancing and skipping into the bank, and all of a sudden it's like the trailer. You see Liam Neeson rip the mask off, and it's Frank Drebin. And he takes out all the bad guys in there, and so that just starting out like all serious like that, I think that's kind of a newer thing that they did in this movie. But checking out, hey, we got the Whiskey Capitalist over here up in the live chat right here. So, sup, dudes? Don't want to spoil the movie, but wanted to jump and say what's up. I'll leave it on in the background. Well, I appreciate you guys doing that there, and that's something that everybody can do with this show. Is that's what I do with other shows. They're like with Fury or with a Crasher show right there. Sometimes I can't watch a show live all the time, but I'll turn it on and I'll just have it on in the background, muted, because I'm doing other stuff and that kind of thing. And you can do that exact same thing with this show and other shows. Just have it on on a laptop in the back room or something, that muted, and especially with a show like this, because if you don't want a movie spoiled, that's a pretty good idea to do that there. But and then I think like there's another sequence there. But hey, back to you guys, the Whiskey Capitalist podcast. Thanks a lot for joining us here, and hopefully you guys get some company there in the live chat here pretty soon. I noticed with this show kind of tends to come on when everyone is like basically just getting home from work, and they gotta eat supper, and gotta give the wife a big old kiss and all that stuff, and gonna spend some time with their kids and stuff, and it's that time of night, and then later on, people start rolling in to the show right there. So I think we're in that moment. But I think that there's another sequence in here that I don't think they would have had in the old Naked Gun movies, where so they're told that they need to keep their police cameras turned on, kind of like the real world. It's kind of ripped from today's headlines, where you have all these supposed police brutality sequences or instances in the news, and it turns out the cops didn't have their cameras on. And so there's a play on that, where Frank Drebin Jr.'s boss is like, and this time, make sure you have your police camera on. And so then there's a sequence where they're trying to prove that this guy was at the bank robbery, and they're replaying Frank Drebin's police camera footage from the day. And so they actually started 8 hours before the bank robbery. And so they're showing Frank Drebin doing a bunch of embarrassing shit, like he's eating a hot dog with chili and jalapenos on it, and he's got the police camera in the rearview mirror. And then later on, they show him he's got to take a wicked shit, inside of his car. It's like muttering, "Oh man, I'm gonna ruin another suit. Oh my god, I gotta find the bathroom fast," and then of course Frank Drebin's like, all right, skip past this part. We don't need to see this. Skip past it, and then they don't skip past it, and they show another part where he's at a restaurant, and to go use the bathroom, and there's a big line of people, and waiting to use the bathroom. And he's like, "I'm a cop, police business," and he's firing a couple of shots in the ceiling to cut the line. They go to the bathroom. It's a poor schmo walks out of the bathroom. He throws him to the side, gets in there. So,
awesome.
So he doesn't produce some mud butt up in his pants there on while on duty. But I just thought that was hilarious, just that whole sequence. And that goes on for a little bit. It's a continuous sequence in the movie, but I thought that was kind of timely there. And there's some stuff that does not make this movie timeless, because they have like this electric car that's kind of prominent within the plot, and electric car chargers, and somebody watches this movie in 50 years, they're like, that's weird, what is that all about? So
Right.
that kind of thing, but it's a little different. But yeah, it'll be cool, when you see it, and we'll have to have you back on after you've seen the movie there, so we'll talk about it in depth there. But all kinds of cool stuff. You get a couple of cameos in this movie. Well, there might be more than a couple, but there's only a couple that I can think of where they have. So Danny Huston, most people probably wouldn't know who that is, who the actor is off the top of their head or just from the name, but he plays the main bad guy, and his plot basically is, and they kind of steal this from the movie Kingsman, The Secret Service, where his plot is to kind of incorporate something into everyone's cell phone, so that something in their cell phones turns everyone into this animalistic creature that wants to go and kill everybody. And so with that plan in place, then the main bad guy's like, hey, you and my fellow billionaires, we'll go and we'll hide in these underground bunkers until after the world kills each other, and then the world will be empty and we can take over the world and we'll rule like kings. But while that's all happening, we'll be down in these underground bunkers, and just to let you guys know, we spared no expense on the best entertainment for all of us while we're down here. We got the top of the line celebrities like Weird Al Yankovic, and Weird Al Yankovic shows up on a big screen like, hey, billionaires, I'm glad I can be part of this evil plan, and I'm so happy that I get to entertain you while we're down in the bunkers, and the bad guys like, Weird Al, we're sparing no expense. You get the best and top line entertainment, Weird Al, and so then Weird Al does appear, later on in the movie. He's like down in a bunker already, and of course Frank Drebin foils the whole plan, but Weird Al's like trapped down in a bunker at the end. He's like, hey, evil billionaires, where you at, man? Where you guys all at? Where you guys are supposed to be down here watching my show, man? It's just one of those sequences. So it's got good funny stuff like that in the movie.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, but incorporating Weird Al in there, I mean, he's a timeless legend. I don't know if I'd say timeless, but he's a legend. He's been around for a while, since the mid '80s. But with Eat It and all his Weird Al classics, Amish Paradise.
Well, and hats off too to the writers, because that's not just a genre, like that's a specific style that you really gotta work to nail. Same thing with the airplane movies. Pretty much everything else Leslie Nielsen was in. All that, well, at least in the later years, all that kind of writing. I think you can't just get any old writer. You got to have folks that can deliver, and it sounds like from everything you're saying, they did.
Yeah, they definitely did right there, and I think that these guys, there's no doubt in my mind that they hold the original Naked Gun movies in high reverence. They grew up with them, and so I think they wanted to do their part, pay homage to those movies while crafting something of their own, because I mean, the last Naked Gun movie came out, 93, 94, or something like that. Yeah. And so I think they wanted to add their own flavor to it, so that it's just not just a rehash of those first three movies, but just coming out 35, 40 years later. They modern it up there, and they throw in some gags in there that you would have never seen before. Like they have a part where they're closing down Police Squad, and so everyone's like walking out with their boxes full of shit, and then you see in the background they're putting like a Spirit Halloween sign over the Police Squad sign. They're opening up a Spirit Halloween store in the old Police Squad, and then just a little stuff. And then like at the very beginning, it really spells out what kind of movie it's going to be, because the bank robbery is all about breaking into this bank deposit box. And they open up the bank deposit box. They get this little gadget thing out, like this little. They kind of like the I don't know, like the MacGuffin of the movie and they show the device to everyone, and it says plot device on the device. It's like
Awesome.
it's PLOT. It's like an acronym. PLOT is like an acronym. It says plot device. You see it, and right when that happens, right when that comes up on screen, like, okay, it's gonna be that kind of movie. Okay, right there. And it just some of the sight gags that they have are pretty hilarious. They're like they definitely steal from Austin Powers, or the Austin Powers movies with like the shadow kind of. Remember the sequences in the Austin Powers movie where they have a light and you just see the people in shadow, and it looks like they're doing like obscene pornographic shit, and so they do steal from that in this movie, but it's still hilarious. They just do it in like an infrared is what they do it in this movie, and it's pretty good. But anyway, let me take a little break here real quick and just take a break by reminding everybody that there is this thing, this hilarious, funny, gut-busting thing. Well, it's not really funny, but it is a thing. It's the like button down below there. And go ahead and hit that like button down there. And you might be busting a gut right now going, man, you think I'm going to like this episode? You crack me up. Maybe that's the funny part. I don't know. So it's like you're very assuming there, Van, that I'm going to hit the like button. But hey, all I can do is beg pathetically and get down on bended knee and beg you to hit that like button down there. And then while you're down there clicking buttons, go ahead and click on that follow or subscribe button down there if you haven't already. And then there's also the notification bell down there as well. And click on that to get notified of any brand new, hot, piping, fresh episodes of Movies Merica coming out right there. You'll get like an email. No one's literally going to come to your door with a bell and say, "Hey, dummy, there's a brand new Movies Merica episode." There's not going to be any singing telegrams, by some chick with big tits or anything like that. I wish I had the technology. I probably would get a lot more viewership if I could, pull that off. And believe me, I'm still trying to pull it off. I've got my team of scientists over here trying to pull off a way to where anybody who hits that notification bell gets Sydney Sweeney to show up at their house as a tinging. So let me try that again. Singing telegram, going, watch his show. So there you go. We'll see how that works right there. And she's going to be wearing her jeans as well because I don't know if you heard there, Crash. Sydney Sweeney has good jeans. So I don't know if you were aware of that or not. But and then also, if you're not watching the show live, what the hell are you doing? Okay. But, maybe some of you might have an excuse. Maybe some of you are, behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. Maybe you're at a Diddy party and all 10 of your fingers are doing something else. Who knows? Maybe you're making meatloaf. Who knows? Ma, the meatloaf now. Okay, maybe you're that lady. All right. So, and you can't watch live. Well, hey, that's cool. We can still communicate with each other. That's via the comments section down below right there. And let me know, if you hate the episode, if you love the episode, let me know of a movie you want me to review. Hey, say hi to Crash. Whatever you want to do in the comments there, by all means. Love, hate, death threats, I'll take it all. Okay, so there you go in the comments section there. So, all right, hey, I got that out of my system right there. Just want to let everybody know about that. But I think, so, Crash, one thing that, even though you haven't seen this movie, you know who Liam Neeson is, right? And,
yeah.
And you know that mostly his movie roles are pretty serious, right? I mean, like I said, for God's sakes, he was Oscar Schindler saving Jews, from a little kitchen time, right? And so, they got the train time, but, he couldn't spare them that, bastard. But anyway, but he did what he did. So, he was Oscar Schindler. He was, he's in the Taken movies. For God's sakes, he was in Excalibur back in 1981, which I still think is so fucking cool that Liam Neeson, he's been around that long where he was in Excalibur of all movies. What was that Patrick Swayze movie he was in? He plays like the hillbilly guy. He was also in that movie. He's been around for a while, mostly serious roles. But now in his golden years, he's moving more over to comedy. And where I'm going with this is that Leslie Nielsen, he was a serious actor too. He mostly did serious roles before he became, this goofy police squad detective named Frank Drebin. I mean, he was in a Forbidden Planet. He was in the Poseidon Adventure. He did like multiple TV movies where he played a murderer, stuff like that. And so he was serious, and then he parlayed that into this comedy career. And I think it's kind of cool that Liam Neeson is doing the exact same thing, because I could have never pictured, back in 93 or 94 or whatever it was, when I'm watching Schindler's List and there's Liam Neeson, Oscar Schindler. I would have never imagined in a few decades that he would be in a scene where he's trying not to shit his pants after eating a chili dog with jalapenos on it. So, but Crash, your thoughts?
Well, I think you just said them all. Really, I mean, you're right. Of course, both careers kind of do mirror each other on a number of perspectives. And I think the only thing that you left out of that was that both these actors were extremely good at what they did.
Sure.
It didn't matter what they did. They were extremely good at what they did. And it's funny, just last night, I think it was on my show, I was talking to somebody about Joaquin Phoenix and how, if you want to talk about an actor with talent, that's not even in the equation. Now we're talking about actors with range. And somebody like Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, look at the sheer range that man has done.
Yeah.
And really well. Like, it doesn't seem to matter. Back in the day, Tom Hanks, he's trying to be a serious actor and everything else, comes out with Forrest Gump. Everybody's lauding his performance for being, mildly retarded.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, not full retard, partial retard. Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, you see other serious roles that he's in and fantastic and serious. So, But does that mean Tom Hanks can't do comedy? Well, of course he can.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's so busy talking about him diddling kids that nobody talks about that anymore. Right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's I mean,
man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, what exactly was he doing with that little boy on A League of Their Own? I mean, I know that he threw a baseball or a baseball mitt at the little kid's face in A League of Their Own, but I don't know what was going on in real life. When the cameras were turned off between him and that kid. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. I can't say for sure, but yeah, it's Tom Hanks is one of those legendary actors where like you're finding out in those later years, like, dude might have been up to some shit.
Well, and somebody else that's pretty top notch, and I don't really care what anybody thinks. Kevin Spacey. An absolute acting sensation. This guy, his career, pretty much, I'm going to say, untouchable.
Sure. Yeah.
And, it's sad that this other stuff has come out and allegedly, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, his fancy for the boys, that was no secret.
Oh, right.
That's not anything that surprised anybody that has ever worked with him. Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I kind of think, there should be that kind of happy medium where, if a person brings something to the table, what is that something? Well, if that something is acting, then they should be regarded and respected based on the acting.
Mm-hmm.
If they go out and maybe do or do not do other things with other people, what have you, like all the alleged stuff, right? Like it's like O.J. Simpson. Okay,
right.
That guy pretty much sucked at everything he did except football.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You go through all that stuff, and he finally gets his acquittal, and then he writes a book about how he did it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Do you remember? Did that book even sell? Did anybody buy that?
I don't know how many numbers it did or how much how successful it was, but it was like If I Did It I think it was If I Did It or something like that is what it was called. There is just kind of a taunt there because I think that's like the kind of guy that O.J. Simpson was is he was kind of very petty and very. I mean, he was like an older guy, but he's childish, right? Because I think O.J. Simpson's like a lot of those guys that had their ball sacks sucked and their ass kissed like from an early age because he knew how to play a kids game real well. Like like I take football, I run that way, I do it really really good, and you get all these people like, wow, you're the greatest, OJ. You take this oblong pigskin ball and you run it really fast, so he's been having his nuts kissed for that long, and so shit goes to your head. I think you get that Peter Pan syndrome, and I think that O.J. Simpson developed that, to where he turned into basically this old guy with the mentality of a spoiled kid who, if you didn't give him what he wanted or you didn't do exactly what he wanted, he'd stab your ass. Okay. And basically become your worst nightmare. And so I think like with that book, I think that was just his kind of his petty way of going, I know that you know that I know that you know that I did it. But I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna write this book. I'm gonna take this book. I'm gonna shove it right in your face. All right, and you can't do nothing about it because I was criminally I was cleared. Exonerated right there. So it's like the glove don't fit. You must have quit, especially with a black jury that wanted to get even for Rodney King and the LA riots. Because that's true.
The other thing is that you never want to meet your heroes, and nothing says that more to me than Arnold Schwarzenegger, because growing up in 1987 and Predator and holy shit, and now he's running for governor and all that great stuff, American through and through, right? Married a Kennedy, for God's sake. There's nobody more patriotic and American than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Fuck yeah! And then you find out. Right. Yeah. And then now it's to the point now, like he goes on his YouTube. He goes on the YouTube there and he's like, this is the sword of Conan. Did you ever watch Conan 75 years ago? I was Conan. This is the sword. Right?
Yeah.
And then talks about how great, anti-American scumbags are.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, what? What are you doing, Arnie? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like it's sobering to see the reality behind the characters that you think are so cool, right there. Because I mean, who would have thought the guy was like drive your enemies before you, the lamentation of their women, that whole thing. And I remember the first time I saw Conan the Barbarian, he was doing that whole thing. I'm like, this guy's fucking cool. This is badass, then of course all the while knowing this is an actor and all that stuff, but then he went on to do many more cool badass roles, Raw Deal, Commando, Predator, all these True Lies, Terminator, all that stuff there, and then but so I'm living with this fantasy in my head, like that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the while knowing he's an actor, but then it just kind of broke my heart. When he did that whole screw your freedom, shit there during COVID. And he basically showed that he went the same direction that Howard Stern went, where, Howard Stern was the so-called king of all media. He was the badass. He was counterculture. He was sticking it to the man and corporate stiffs and that kind of thing. And then COVID came along and with Howard Stern and Arnold Schwarzenegger, turned him into a couple of screeching, paranoid, panicky yentas, they turned into a couple of old screeching women, like, get your mask on, take your vaccine. Oh my God, don't infect me. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy played the Terminator. What the fuck?
You gotta wonder how much of that is real and how much of that is acting, because I'll tell you a little bit about Howard Stern. Back in the day, it's exactly like you portray him. He's down with the man and all this stuff. The whole shock jock thing takes hold and the phenomenon explodes, right?
Yeah.
And he's the guy. You want to get to the truth? He's the guy, man. You go to him. You don't go to Barbara Walters. You don't go to Dan Rather. You go to Howard Stern. He will get the goods, right?
Sure.
And it was just absolutely stunning to me, because everything I've ever heard about the guy with people that worked with him all through the years in radio, is that superhuman being. He's a super guy. He's a great guy. If you work on his crew and you're just a lowly whatever guy, you're the mic waxer or whatever it is, and if he doesn't observe your birthday, that's you're in a different reality. That doesn't happen. He doesn't let any of the people that work for him go unnoticed or unappreciated. He's super with all of them. So much so, there's a number of stories I could get into about details, about things that he would do for like the daughter of an employee just because kind of thing. And amazing stuff. And you're just like, wow, this guy's like the Mother Teresa of radio, right?
Sure. Right.
And then this stuff.
Right.
I don't know. What? No, that can't be the same human being. And then you get into the whole conspiracy theory, he's a clone. He's actually been dead for 30 years. It's a clone.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah, Fart Man has been dead for 30 years. And yeah, now the invasion of the body snatchers took him over. So yeah.
But I think
basically what happened is I think like he married a hot piece of pussy, because he's not with the woman that he was with in the movie Private Parts anymore for a long time. Yeah. And then so he got basically a new trophy wife, and he started hanging out and hobnobbing with like, the Hollywood elites. And I think they got in his ear like, we don't like that raunchy shit you do. But you need to like, if you want to hang out with us, if you want to be in the club, you're gonna need to get rid of that. That's why in 2013. There was that leaked video where he was doing that presentation or that board meeting or whatever you want to call it with all his employees saying, all right, we're basically going to tamp down the raunch, if not completely get rid of it, and we're going to concentrate on like celebrity interviews and covering entertainment and that kind of thing. And like starting there, and is where it started. And then you had the hot, the new hot wife, and then I'm sure she got in his ear and like, you're too raunchy. You're too hard edged. Me and the girls. I can't go to brunch with the girls. Without them laughing about you. I'm embarrassed. Like you need to start doing things differently. And he's like, well, if I want to, hit that, I better do what she says. If I still want to keep hanging out with George Clooney, I better do what he says too. And I think he turned against the common man, who he used to be a champion for. Like you were talking about before, he was a champion for them. All the like the blue collar workers, the truck drivers, they'd all tune in, to him and Baba Booey and all those guys for all the raunchy shit that he did, which I loved. And he basically went against that. He betrayed that and turned into what he is right now. And I think like the COVID stuff, how paranoid he was, like how he wouldn't come out of his mansion for like 2 or 3 years because he was so paranoid that he might get the COVID. I think that was like a lot of celebrities in his ear, probably talking to Keith Olbermann and you're going to die, Howard, if you leave your house and you better get your mask on. You better get vaxxed and triple vaxxed and quadruple vaxxed and quintuple vaxxed and all that stuff. And then he would, start going on X and screaming at people, like a screeching old fucking, Merlot chugging bitch from the cul-de-sac, you better get your vax. If you don't get your vax, hospitals shouldn't treat you. You should just die in a hospital waiting room. When he said shit like that, that's when I knew, like, oh, yeah, you are completely done with the common man. Okay, all right, so you are officially an uppity, stuck-up elite now. Okay, understood.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's so yeah, Howard Stern and Schwarzenegger. I think he's kind of the same way, less not quite as publicly, but I think less to an extent than Howard Stern. But it's good to see that Howard Stern he's paying the price for alienating at least half the country from watching the show. I mean, he came right out and said it. Hey, he didn't want any Trump voters listening to his show anymore, and I'm sure those Trump voters are all like, what, say no more. What, I'm way ahead of you, Howard. Not watching, not listening anymore. Matter of fact, I stopped listening like a couple of years ago. It's like they're going to be just like that. So
yeah, I stopped, I think, back in 2017. Yeah.
He did it to himself there. Now the guy's going to be, he's going to be all right. He's got billions of dollars. The guy could have retired 5 years ago. But I do like the idea that, I mean, he loves what he does because you can't make it that as big as he did without having that pure love and ambition and drive, for what you're doing. And so I think it's gonna affect him emotionally. I think he's gonna hate it. I mean, there's almost only so much golf you can play, and only so many sports cars you can drive, and so many trips to Turks and Caicos you could take. I mean, like that probably gets old. Not that I would know from experience, but I'd love to I'd love to find out the hard way. But I think he's gonna miss it. He's gonna be like, shit. I miss doing what I did, and also at the end of the day, I think he's got to feel like he got ran out of his job by people that don't agree with him there, because I mean, like I said, the people that disagree with him, they did exactly what he said to do. Stop listening to me. And he found out there's a shitload more people than he expected that disagree with him, and thus stopped watching the show, and they took his ass out.
Well, and you got to think too, the problem with that, aside from the obvious, is that if you have a fan base that you've built up for 50 years and they know and have reference to all that stuff 40 years ago, the problem with telling them all to piss off now, because you're just better than all that, is that the new listeners that you have that you think, okay, well, I got these guys, I've got my posse, right? Well, that posse wasn't even born back then. They don't know what the hell you're referencing. They don't know what you're talking about. And that's gotta kind of count against him, I think, in terms of any kind of lasting notoriety from those future generations, right?
Right. Yeah, it's he's one of those guys where he's one of those keystones of how the culture is changing now. Now we haven't won yet. We haven't won shit. It took decades and decades for, and we're kind of going into politics talk here, but hey, that's what you talk about, Crash, on your show. So I have no problem with going into it. I'll tie this to entertainment in some way. We're talking about Howard Stern and shit, but I think it's, it took decades and decades for the communists to go through their long reign, the long run through the institutions, there, including movies and radio and all that stuff. So it's going to take decades to achieve final victory right there. But I think Howard Stern and Stephen Colbert losing their jobs, that is a keystone. That's like, oh, we won at Antietam. Oh, we won at Gettysburg. Those are battles. The ultimate war isn't won, but those are big battles we won there. And so I think that it's good to celebrate victories, but it's also not. But don't celebrate for too long, because there's a shitload more work to do. There's more Howard Sterns and Stephen Colbert's to get rid of. We got to get rid of the fucking hens from the View, and get rid of the Krasensteins. We got to get them off of shit and all kinds of other stuff. So we got to shut down CNN and MSNBC there. But just not because I disagree with what they say, but because they spread blatant lies there.
Here's the interesting thing about that. I don't know if you know or not, but
probably not.
Donald Trump applied for, back in 2018, Donald Trump applied for a communications and broadcasting license. And in 2022, he was actually approved for it. So now he is the proud owner of an FCC broadcasting license, completely valid in this North American sphere place, to go ahead and start his own Trump channel, right?
Yeah.
And all this time that the mainstream media has been attacking him and everything else, the idea rolling around the back of my head was that, okay, well, he's just going to start, Trump News or whatever, TNN or whatever, right?
Sure, yeah.
He's just going to start that, and he's going to move forward. Well, he never did. And interesting little anecdote, about halfway through 2023, a personal friend of his, now this isn't just an acquaintance, this isn't somebody who's just posed for pictures at an event like Jeffrey Epstein. This is somebody who's actually a personal friend that golfs with Trump on a regular basis. So this is one of Trump's closer friends, okay? He right-wing conservative. and business mogul himself. And he went in the middle of 2023 and he bought enough stock to have controlling interest in CNN. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, aha, that's what they're going to do. Now you watch. Trump's going to make the move. CNN's going to become TNN. Way we go, right? Still didn't happen. And the strange thing was, do you remember when the CNN actually broadcasted escorting out of this gentleman who is an associate producer on one of CNN shows, escorting him out of the building into the custody of police because child porn? Do you remember that?
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. No.
Well, they escorted that. They did that to that guy. There was a couple other producers of shows at CNN with the same kind of thing. They were arrested for child pornography and lost their jobs. And there was like this 2 weeks where there was like this shakeup going on at CNN, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe now they're making their move. No, right?
What?
And yeah, I know. So I don't know. Like he's got the facility to do it, but he's not doing it. He still has the facility to do it. He's not doing it. He had it before he was president again.
Sure.
Didn't do it. Still isn't doing it. But yet, if you stop and look at it, though, it's very interesting that, January 20th comes along, he takes office, and we're all expecting, okay, he's going to shut down the media because they're all fake news. We know this.
Sure.
And yet here we are like 8 months later, and we're still dealing with the same BS every day on that whole front, too. It's like,
yeah. Yep.
We're positioned, but we're not going. I don't know what we're doing.
Right, yeah. I just wonder if he appreciates it. He feels like he needs him as a good foil, right? I mean, like Batman needs his Joker, right? Superman needs his Lex Luthor. And so maybe he wants him there as a good foil. Like, look at them over there, those bad guys, those baddies, I hate them all. Like if he didn't have a foil to go up against, then it would make him seem better, by comparison or something like that. I'm not sure, but
that is true. But you still got MSNBC, you still got CNN, you still got all these mainstream media outlets every day still pushing vaccines. So I mean, there's that, like, how as a president, you know that it's been proven that stuff is killing people, causing autism, retarding people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's doing all this damage to Americans every day, and it's just allowed to continue. So I mean, there's that side of it too.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think he was kind of hurt that when he would do rallies and he would start getting up there and hawking those vaccines, like even MAGA was like, "Shut the fuck up about the vaccines, boo!" And there's a period of time where he was like going and asking like a Susie Wiles, like, why the hell are they booing me when I mention the vaccines? What the hell? Aren't the vaccines great? And I think, like, I don't know if he was completely oblivious to the fact that the vaccines weren't vaccines. Not only were they not vaccines, they were killing people, even young people. Or he was just so proud of something. Like, how like you're so proud of something, like you'll just like you'll just ignore any shit that you hear, like, vaccines are killing people. Vaccines aren't really vaccines. I don't hear any of that. Because I'm so proud of my accomplishment.
I don't think what he's talking about and what we were listening to are the same thing. And I'll tell you why. Because when he got COVID and he got airlifted to the Walter Reed Memorial Hospital right away, and there was a big thing about everything, the treatments he got was hydroxychloroquine and Regeneron. And he felt great, and he was back at work 3 days later, and Bob's your uncle. So of course, from his perspective, if he's thinking that's that, then he absolutely knows it works. He's had it. He got through everything great. He wants America to do that too. Operation Warp Speed, and then the 3 poisons come out from Pfizer and Upjohn and Moderna, right? And I think there's a disconnect there. I think he thinks that when we talk about vaccines, we're still talking about Regeneron and hydrochloroquine. And what we're receiving now is thinking that he's all behind Pfizer, and right? It's just a speculation on my part, but I can see how that would be his understanding.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, even though, like, yeah, I mean, it's been said that hydroxychloroquine, or however is that, it's like, and ivermectin and all those, they've been widely described as they're treatments, they're not vaccines, and they're what's the word, like something that's supplementary or whatever, something like that. It's like what the Moderna or the Myrna vaccines have turned out to be. They're not vaccines, they're therapeutics. That's what they are. They're just treatments and whatnot. And so if he still thinks, like, when we say we're anti-vaccine, or when people refer to the vaccines that we're talking about ivermectin, then yeah, I think he needs to educate himself on that. But I think, like, that was one thing, and I get buckets of shit for this, but in the primary, I was not a Trump fan. I was or not a Trump guy. I mean, I still like what Trump did in his first term as president, even though he did a lot of shit that drove me crazy. Like always taking the media's bait and not going after Hillary and that kind of thing. Because and then also like hawking the vaccine. So during the primary, I was a DeSantis guy because I wanted us to like start doing like Nuremberg style trials over COVID and that kind of thing. And I knew that if Trump won, he would not do that, because the minute they started those Nuremberg trials, people were like, hey, you're the one who created the vaccine that's killing everybody. And then Trump would have to shut the fuck up there, where DeSantis didn't create any vaccines. He's got no skin in the game or none of that. So he would be more than happy, like, once he, steps in the Oval Office on January 20, like, he'd be like, all right, start the Nuremberg trials tomorrow. We're calling in Fauci, Birx, all these people here. And so that's why I was a primary voter for him. But then once Trump won the primary, thanks to the warfare, in large part, then I knew, like, okay, well, yeah, we're not going to get the Nuremberg trials that I want. But I think that so that's why I was a DeSantis fan on that. But I think that Trump, I think he did, he's at least smart enough to learn a lesson and learn that, okay, yes, maybe I should shut the fuck up about vaccines. Now we do need to stop. We do still need to do something about him, like licking the ball sack of Lindsey Graham all the time. But so he still hasn't learned that lesson yet. If I hear him fucking like promote Lindsey Graham one more fucking time, I'm gonna fucking like put my head through a wall. So, but but with he can learn, and so I do like that he's winning other victories to counter for him slipping on that banana peel with the COVID vaccines right now. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But
he is doing. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of policy stuff that's beneficial to us. There's a lot of things to do with the lower courts and judiciary that is very beneficial. Yes. Still not giving them a pass on the deep state or Hillary or any of that shit. And
nope.
Giving Obama and the rest of the presidents immunity. I mean, what the hell is that? You just killed any possibility of getting rid of the deep state.
Sure.
Right there.
Exactly.
Right there you did it. Right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Sure, Hillary's subpoenaed now. She's going to go into Congress and talk more. Great. So we'll have more stupid little video clips that you can share on social media and piss everybody off with. I mean,
yeah.
How many Benghazi clips did we have to go through over and over and over and
over?
Oh,
sure. Right. Yeah.
It's just going to be that stuff again. And what's the worst that she's going to see? Let's be honest, folks. Even if they do send a referral to the DOJ, which I don't believe they're ever going to do from Congress, because they're all in on it too. So why would they?
Exactly.
Even if they did, nothing's going to happen from it. And even if it did, maybe Pam Bondi's like, Supergirl or something, and she's just not taking no for an answer, and it's on her desk. God damn it! Even if you get a situation like that, and let's say she takes her to court and she gets a conviction, I don't even have to say it. You already know she's going to get 6 months at some Martha Stewart luxury bungalow on the ocean for 6 months, and then that'll be it. Time served. There you go. Bye bye.
Yep. Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. He just doesn't get like. I think that So okay, so before, when he was in his first term, I think he still thought he could be friends with like the elites and the media, and he was trying to win them over. I mean, you remember how he's like giving, oh God, Bob Woodward like 17-hour-long interviews and shit. You know, and Bob Woodward hates his ass. I mean, Bob Woodward hates Trump's guts. Or he would talk to Chris Wallace and all these people that you're like, why the fuck are you giving these guys 6 to 8 hours? Jonathan Karl wouldn't piss on your head if your head was on fire. All right. Trump, like, why are you giving Jonathan Karl a 9-hour interview? All right. But I think it was because he thought that he could win the media over. I could win them over with my savvy, you know, and my cool quips and shit like that. But I think like there's nothing like having, nothing like getting shot in the head to kind of cure you, you know, of that to an extent. There, you know, it's like I'm, but there's still, I can still tell there's a little bit of that. Well, maybe we can make it work with the people that tried to have me fucking killed. Maybe we can, maybe we could still dance around a tree and sing Kumbaya, even though they, you know, hired some fucking math nerd to blow my brains out. You know, you know, they tried to throw me in jail for the rest of my life, and thank God I was elected president. Otherwise, my ass would be in cell block D right now.
Well, that's the thing. You look at
it, even in spite of that, he still wants to be their buddy.
Well, that's the other thing too. You think about that for a minute. They don't send the best of the best. They don't go hire themselves an ex-Green Beret merc who can snipe you in his sleep. No. They send the 15-year-old pimply-faced kid that probably won't be able to carry out the mission. And to his credit, holy crap, he actually did. But he missed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except for that poor fireman, but yep, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did the fireman great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm like, all the people are like, that assassination attempt, it was fake. That was ketchup. That was ketchup on his ear. Like, yeah, tell that to the family of Corey Comparatori.
Yeah.
Whatever you say his last name. You know, no disrespect. But that it wasn't fake to his family. Because that guy is no longer with us right there. But, you know, that wasn't staged like a movie or anything. It wasn't Butler, Pennsylvania, the movie. But, yeah, I mean, I hear you. I like kind of to bring this back to entertainment. I mean, I've seen enough episodes of House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, as you had mentioned before, there where I am of the cynical mind, the pessimistic mind of don't even bother me with any talk about the deep state or Epstein or anything. Just call me when you're seeing scenes on Fox News of John Brennan being perp walked in an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed behind his back, or Clapper or Comey or whoever. Don't call me until that's on Fox News, and you can call me up like, hey, man, hey, turn on Fox News right now. Check it out. Like, until that happens, I don't want to hear a fucking word out of your mouth. I don't want to hear about, ooh, it might be on my desk. There's spending something in Congress. Yeah, they're filing paperwork. Don't care. I don't care. So yeah.
No, I hear you. I'm with you. I gave up on that shit long ago.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, call me, Brennan, you know, Clapper, you know, like, you know, no one's going to prison. I mean, I'll call it right now. No one's going to prison. They got too many powerful friends. I think like you know, as big a fan of a lot of what Trump has done there. I just don't think he has the stones for it. I think that he much less than your traditional, you know, traditional Republican, because the traditional Republicans still hold on to that, you know, those nursery rhyme politics of like, we have to be the better people, you know, we don't want to stoop down to their level. You know, sure, they tried to kill our you know, our candidate, but we don't want to stoop down to their level. We maybe we could still be friends with the Democrats, and Trump has less of that. I don't think he believes that to the extent of you know, a Paul Ryan or something like that, or you know, John Kasich or anything like that. I think he's still, but he still, I think he still does have a little bit of that where he just doesn't have the nerve to you know, to press the button to do what absolutely is necessary there. Like, he's still taking orders from fucking judges out in the middle of fucking nowhere. He's the president of the United States. He should be telling these judges in these district courts to go fuck themselves right there. And, if someone comes back, yeah, but he doesn't want the media to say bad things about him. Newsflash, I think the media has been saying bad things about him already for quite a while, all right? So we're way past that point, where, he doesn't want to break the decorum of politics. Oh, really? Well, I think that when he got shot in the fucking head, the Democrats broke the decorum way before we did. We're matching, shots to a presidential candidate's head with just telling some judge to go fuck themselves there. I think that what they did is a whole lot worse. I'd say trying to shoot somebody is a whole lot worse than telling some judge to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, why would you fear being called a fascist dictator when they do it? They already do it. You might as well, like, they literally open the door. There's nothing stopping you now. Just go be a fascist dictator for 3 years. I don't care.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. They're going to call you that anyway. I mean, you take that as as the green light. That's your green light. Go for it. Okay. Like, it's kind of like the husband that always gets accused of cheating. The husband, after a while, is going to be like, well, I might as well fucking cheat. I mean, you're going to accuse me of it anyway. Yep. I might as well go bang your sister then. You're always accusing me of it. So there you go. So like Trump should do the political version of banging his wife's sister go all out. I mean, he's way past the point of worrying about whether the media says bad things about him. Yeah. There, he's got carte blanche. He's got free reign. I mean, enjoy it. Jonathan Karl and Bob Woodward and all those guys are going to call you a fascist and Hitler and Nazi already. Like, so no matter what you do. So yeah, go ahead and go crazy, go nuts there. So I mean, so that's why I wish he would go after the deep state and go after those guys, and without, because I mean, the minute that he's got to get it done, he's got to show these guys, he's got to put the fear of God in their hearts so that they don't try this shit again. They don't try to kill him again. They don't try to throw JD Vance or Vivek or Marco Rubio in a few years in jail. He has to scare them so much with some kind of punishment where the very second they start thinking maybe of doing that, they start pissing their pants because, oh my God, no, we can't do that. Remember how long they threw Clapper in jail? I mean, Clapper only lasted 3 months in jail, and he got shivved. I don't want that. No, let's I don't want any part of trying to throw JD Vance in jail or committing any lawfare against him. Like, no. So you have to have punishments and that kind of thing to dissuade them from that. And I don't think there's been intense enough punishment out there to dissuade the scumbags on the left to not do anything like that.
No, I would agree 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yep. But yeah. Hey, how about that naked gun? That's, I don't know how you segue from that right there. But with as far as like chemistry, we're going to talk about how like I'm going to try it. We'll try this. So how Trump does not get along with the media is in contrast to how Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson get along in this movie. They love each other. They love each other in this movie. There you go, right there. And hey, in real life, it sounds like Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are pretty crazy about each other because they're dating in real life. So Liam's getting her after Tommy Lee got her on that boat, but ooh, hey, better late than never there, Liam. So you go for it, boy.
Yeah, I did not know that. Okay, good on him. Yeah,
good for him right there. It would have been funny if they would have had like some kind of parody of her and Tommy Lee, on the boat. If they would have incorporated something like that in this movie, because they do have like this love montage, where they get it off the first time they go into this montage, and so it would have been kind of funny if they get on a boat and then they cut away, and then the boat goes away, and you start seeing the boat rocking back and forth, in the water, without showing them doing anything,
That would have been the way I would have gone. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe have some character dressed up like Tommy Lee in the foreground going, oh, man. Something like that. I think that would have been kind of cool. But I'm sure she's probably not. I'm sure she's probably not in in any kind of mood, and she's not in a real hurry to put anything out there that reminds everybody of that kind of embarrassing episode in her life with that whole thing going on. So yeah, it's like I can't imagine what a sex tape being embarrassing. What? So there we go. But I see Sean Cab in the live chat on the Rumble side. Sean, good to see you there, buddy. Welcome to the show right there. You just missed politics talk for an hour, but yeah, you were talking about we did kind of touch on it before, but I never get tired of talking about it. Is you were mentioning to me offline that we I think in the last 5 years we did have a big problem with woke and entertainment, with Hollywood, and just with multimedia in general. And I am glad to see that we are winning on some fronts there. I do see that like Disney did settle with Gina Carano shortly before we came on air here. I mean, they must have given her a shitload of money right there to get her to back off.
Capitulate.
Yeah, it's I mean, they paid her some good money because God knows Disney does not want Discovery out there in that case. Because I can just imagine the skeletons that Disney has in their closet and what they've done and that kind of thing. So I mean, I'm talking like maybe some Sound of Freedom kind of shit going on. But yeah. So I was kind of. I didn't read totally into it. I don't know what the situation is 100%, with that Gina Carano settlement there. I'm assuming because of that, we're not going to get the Discovery. We're not going to get the real dirt on Disney. And I guess we're just going to appreciate, Disney, basically, getting a big, getting a big foot to the ball sack, I guess, legally speaking here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would assume, no matter what the amount of money was, I would assume there's definitely a gag order.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. She's basically she can't say shit, and I mean, maybe she can't even say anything, even if it's nice or something like that. But and I don't know if it was an option for her to go, no, go fuck yourself. Keep your money. No, I'm going after you. I'm gonna go after you. I want to unveil all your skeletons. I want to shed light, all the darkness, that you guys have. I mean, I don't know if that was an option to where, I guess it would be an option, right? She could turn down the money, turn down the settlement offer. So,
yes, well, absolutely. Of course, you can turn that down. Yeah, I think maybe it's probably more a situation of, I kind of made my point. The time has kind of passed, and as you were just saying a few minutes ago, we can see the changes in media and television and film to where we're going back to at least a sense of normalcy. And, so maybe from her perspective, kind of taking the bigger picture into consideration as well, this just seems like the best choice for her.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because I don't know all the specifics. I don't know, all the tentacles to this thing like she does and her lawyers do. I'm just some schmo online, talking about it as far away from it as possible. But, but also, so I don't want to be too presumptuous there. I mean, I guess that's the kind of person I am. I'm just cold-blooded. When somebody does some heinous shit, I want them nailed to the fucking wall. I don't want any kind of like kind of mercy, grace, or anything like that. Like Disney, basically rode us all pretty hard and put us away wet for a long time, and they really threw away a good thing, in the world that Walt Disney created, and acted like we were, a bunch of Nazis and homophobes and all that stuff because we, didn't want them shoving, the LGBTFU shit down, kids' throats and that kind of thing. And so because of that, I just wanted them to feel, To quote Clubber Lang in Rocky 3, pain,
Yeah.
And I just don't think like them having to pay a shitload of money is enough pain there. I mean, I'm sure it is pain. I mean, I'm sure they don't want to, it's embarrassing. I mean,
Well,
that they have to settle.
if you look at it from their perspective, if you look at it from their perspective, it's kind of like a situation where, well, it would have been nice if we could have kept all that money, but
yeah, right, exactly.
we'll
Yeah,
make it back
like,
now.
right. I mean, yeah, because it's like I think they probably thought, okay, well, the settlement, the news cycles change, so fast. This is going to be forgotten. What's today? Thursday. It's going to be forgotten by Saturday. Because something else is going to happen. I mean, it'll be still talked about like on entertainment channels on YouTube and conservative shows and that kind of thing. But for the mainstream stuff that normie, that the normies watch, they're not going to be talking about it for that long.
No.
But if she would have said, hey, fuck you in your settlement, we're going to court, and I'm gonna want discovery, and they start, finding out some stuff, like the CEO was on Epstein Island, he was like fucking 9-year-olds or something like that, like that stuff doesn't go away.
No, 8
financial settlements do that shit doesn't go away. What's that?
I said 8-year-olds.
yeah. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't forget about the 8-year-olds. They'll forget about the 9-year-olds. Maybe the 9-year-olds is a line right there. But so I bet that stuff. Yeah, that stuff will last forever and taint, Disney forever. So, but like I said, I'm very vengeful.
What do you think? What do you think? Just out of curiosity, I'm not sure how much you've delved into it, but I'm sure you're aware. What do you think when you see these people talking and putting up videos and presenting their evidence about the ongoing, like for decades, correlation between Disney and Satan worship? Is there any credence to that, do you think? Or do you think it's just crazy conspiracy crap?
You know what? Until I see like hard evidence, I mean, I kind of chalk it up to just crazy Uncle Larry, putting up videos, there. I mean, I do require evidence, and I just want to see, like Exhibit A, Exhibit B. I want to see all of that. Because there's enough of that on the internet. The internet's going to internet, and and then also even before the internet, I think we all knew those people. Like, hey, Crash, come here, man. I heard from a guy who heard it from a girl who heard it from a guy that JFK he's still alive and he's running ESPN. And get this, he's married to Nancy Reagan, who's still alive also as well. Like, we all know people like that just kind of like will pull you to the side and just spin bullshit. And I try to not to be that guy, So yeah.
Well, it's funny too, because I don't believe that shit, but if I talk about that shit, which I do on my show, then it's just guilt by association. I don't sit there and go tell anybody this is what I believe. I go tell everybody what these people are saying and what's going on, and just informing people of that, they kind of they equate you to that too. Nah, you're just a crazy foil hat wearing motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would love it. I mean, I would love nothing more than to hear that. Oh, Disney, they're associated with Satanism and all that stuff, and they crash and burn because I would love nothing more than to hear about that and see that on the headlines tomorrow. Sweet. I'm not saying I don't believe it because I don't want it to be true. I'm saying I want it to be true. But I think like when people put out theories like that without the evidence, then it ruins it for the next person that comes along that maybe does have some evidence, and it makes their case less compelling, because we had 3,700 yahoos out here going, I heard it from my Uncle Bernie, who heard it from his friend Mo, who they used to, build tractors together. And the guy they used to get the motor from, Harry, said that, Richard Nixon's still alive and he's Britney Spears' boyfriend. All this shit. It waters everything down and ruins things. And so I want, I have no problem with people like on shows like talking about it, using it as discussion material and stuff like that. It's just not my bag. Like UFOs, I couldn't give a fuck. I'm like, show me the bodies. Until you show me the body, like where I'm seeing it live, I'm not seeing it on a screen, I'm not seeing it on TV, like live. I'm like there, and there's an actual fucking alien there, and I look up, and there's a big fucking spaceship. Until that happens, I'm not going to believe that there's UFOs and aliens and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's so because no one's shown me that yet. Again, I don't care. So
it's really interesting as far as that UFO thing goes, because if you watch it over the last 50, 60, 70 years, like I have. There's one thing that is constant and 100% true. Out of all the stories about all the abductions, about all the sightings, about all the E5 we're communicating in our minds, all the stuff right up to modern ufology today. There's one thing that has always remained constant all the way through the entire history since Roswell in 47. And do you know what that is?
Baseball? No, that's Field of
Yes.
Dreams. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
The one constant throughout the years, Ray, is baseball. No, but you're talking about something else. There you go.
I am. I'm talking about the availability of evidence, and when that evidence is submitted, it seems to fall in line with exactly the technology level that we are at. In other words, I'm talking about eyewitness accounts. I'm talking about photographs. I'm talking about video. Like, nobody finds it odd that now the UFOs that you see over these places on video everywhere are highly detailed. There's little ships and stuff flying around the big mothership or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
It just seems like a new app has come out for the cell phone. That's what it seems like to me, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially like nowadays in the age of AI, and when I see a picture or something, I was like, my pessimism is like assumes that it could be doctored, right? It could be something manufactured. It may not be real, and so that's why, like I was saying before, I literally have to be staring up at the sky and have a spaceship like right above my head, and aliens coming down, for me to believe it right there. And then if I see that, then I'm going to be a true believer. Like, holy shit, those are UFOs. That's an alien. Oh, and they're pointing. What are you pointing at me? And all of a sudden, I'm going to get zapped and I'll be dead. So
it's okay. It's a green dildo.
Yeah. We come from planet WNBA.
But it's just kind of but here's the other thing, though. Here's the other thing. You say you'll believe it when you see it, when it comes down in front of you, and blah blah blah, and you get the little tingly scrotum death ray, and you can feel your strength.
Show me.
Right. Well, the interesting thing now is you talk about AI. AI is actually kind of surpassed that now. We've gotten to the point now. I saw an ad for a piece of AI tech now that you can buy. It's like $130 or something to buy the usage of it for a year or whatever it is. And it can now take a still photo. So I can take a photo of myself or of you. Actually, I'll take a photo of you. I'll take a still right from this right here. I'll take a still from you. And now I can make you, using this lovely piece of technology, I can make you sit there and talk on your microphone. I can match your voice. I can literally script everything you say, and I can do entire shows with you forever.
Sure. Right, yeah, exactly. Yep.
And it kind of goes to that thing about, not only thanks to the mainstream media do we not know anything's real, now we can't even trust our own eyes and ears, because I've actually submitted a number of times that even though you can see me on my cameras in my studio on my show every day, saying different things, that can all be programmed. People would never know. You'd never know.
Right.
They used to have with that, what do they call it? The deep fake technology. They used to have things where like the eyes would glitch or an ear would fall off or something. But they don't have that anymore. It's smooth and it's crisp and it's consumer level now. Anybody can buy it.
You must be talking about some AI that's more advanced than that shit that they used on that Jim Acosta interview with the dead kid. From From
Way better.
from the Parkland shooting right there. Like, because that one, you can. I mean, they said it ahead of time. It was an AI recreation of this kid, where his parents are pimping out the memory of their dead loved one, to push, Democrat gun control talking points. But but I think even if I didn't know it was AI, that looks so fake.
Right.
There with that AI recreation of that kid, just the way he was talking, and it literally, like, just what he was saying, it just sounded like just rehearsed lines. Like Jim Acosta, like, what would you recommend doing, to prevent shootings? Like, well, I recommend gun reform and safe spaces for people to have dialogue about gun control and to have mental facilities, and like, it just and what do you think? It just sounded so fake. It looked so fake, and so I think, like, so it would have to be better AI than that. But I still can't. I part of me is like, I still can't believe that happened. That interview happened. But then when you incorporate Jim Acosta into it, who is a complete, like, insufferable, attention whore, then I can believe it, because he's like, it's got to really burn Jim Acosta. Like, here I am. I used to be on CNN. Now I've been thrown to just doing Substack videos. There, I've been thrown into the media landfill. There in the media equivalent of a dark alley, sitting next to a dumpster. I'm on whatever that Substack I was talking about. I just love the idea of, like, Trump, like, sending a video to Jim Acosta now, like, oh, Substack, you're doing a Substack video and interviews, all that stuff. Hey, well, here's me. I'm about to get on Marine One. And hey, I live in the White House right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have a state dinner with the premier of Japan tonight and all that stuff. And hey, I'm gonna bang Melania tonight. Yeah, how you doing? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're doing that Substack thing. Well, good luck with your little Substack thing there, Costa. There you go. So I'm on top. You're at the fucking bottom. Suck it, bitch.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Trump doing something like that. So, because what a fall for Jim Acosta, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. There. Real quick, Sean. I just noticed that Sean had given me a $5 Rumble rant here, dropping some Rumble rants for my buddy, and here's right back at you, buddy. There you go. You get a drink for that $5 Rumble rant.
Right on.
All right, excellent, right there. So
wait a minute. Now we're getting close to the end of the show. You haven't done an ad read. God damn it.
I have not. Nope. We used to do, like, other stuff, but the stuff just kind of fell through. And that kind of thing, and so we weren't doing it. What I do now, though, what I'm about to do, is about as close to an ad read as I would do here. So, and what I was going to do next has to do with this stuff right here, good old brew right here, and so I'm going to do this. I'm going to put you in backstage because I'm about to do my little brew review time here. Get that going on, absolutely, and let's get right into it. Let's do a little brew review time. All right, everybody. So the beer for tonight in this brew review time is Boulevard Espresso Martini Stout. Okay, so say that 10 times real fast. All right, so yeah, Boulevard Espresso Martini Stout, and this comes to us from Kansas City, Missouri, where Boulevard Brewing is at. And this is an Imperial Wheat Stout. And it's brewed with espresso, and you can definitely tell it was brewed with espresso. Let me get that a little closer to you guys there. And this is part of their limited smokestack series. I have no idea what the relevance of the smokestack is. Maybe it has something to do with Kansas City. Who knows? But it's supposed to be like a beer version of a well-shaken espresso martini. Okay. Now, maybe some of you right now are like gagging, like, I don't want coffee. I don't want espresso and beer mixed together. It's disgusting. All right. And it is very, very indulgent. It's very rich. It's very thick and whatnot. But I think with the coffee and the espresso in there, they don't overdo it. Okay. It's a very, very subtle. It's not too much. They didn't just go crazy and whatnot. And again, I'm not getting any money from Boulevard Brewing here. So if this tasted like dog shit, I would tell you. Trust me, and I would enjoy doing it, okay? But I have to say, I enjoy telling you just as much that this is a pretty good brew here. Like I said before, it's a limited edition there, so you're not going to be able to get it, every day of the year. It's probably going to be a little harder to find in your ubiquitous beers, like your Bud Light tranny fluid and your Coors Light piss water, all that stuff right there. This is a beer of a different breed right here. This is a little craft brew, so to speak, there. And, like I said, it's very indulgent. I mean, the first sip of this, it'll put some hair on your peaches. I will tell you that right there, for a beer, that is, okay? Don't get me wrong. It's still a beer. It's not like you're just taking a swig of Mad Dog 2020. It's still a beer, but it's a 12% alcohol by volume beer. And so, yeah, it's, if you're used to, drinking some piss water beer, yeah, you're going to notice the difference. That's for sure. But I think in a good way, if you're willing to give it a chance. It's got like a nice creamy sweetness to it, but it's also still a beer. All right. It's not like you're not drinking a shake or something. It's not that frothy and thick or anything like that. It's still a beer. But yeah, I would check this out. It's a Boulevard. So Boulevard isn't some obscure beer that's brewed in a basement, in Bangladesh. I mean, Boulevard's a pretty common beer brand out there. So push come to shove, you'll still be able to get your hands on it if you go to like Uber Eats or go to Open Bar. Open Bar is an app on your phone as well there. So, but enough of me yapping about this. I'm going to get a tug off this bad boy. All right, there you go. Yep, that's more hair on my peaches. That's for sure. So, but yeah, check out some Boulevard Espresso Martini Stout. Again, not getting any money from Boulevard here. And so it's a completely objective review. All right. But hey, let's wrap up this brew review time. All right, let's get my good buddy Crash back up here. There we go. And so, yeah, Crash, are you a big beer drinker, or do you at least enjoy a beer here and there?
I'll say this. No.
All right, moving on. There we go. Hey, how about that weather? We've got wind coming out of the northeast.
No, it's funny. It's strange because I'm Irish and everything too. So it's like, why the hell
yeah. You should be drunk off your ass right now.
I often ask myself, why the hell aren't I? For a great number of reasons. But maybe that's why the 14 cups of coffee a day. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I never really got into any of it. Hard liquor for the most part. Never liked it. Beers, it was kind of like boring to me, really.
Oh yeah.
And I tried a whole bunch of them. Of course, I went through my teens too, just like anybody. So, but yeah, no, nothing really appealed to me about any of it, really.
Yeah. Did you have a period of time where you were into hard liquor, or you weren't really into that at all as well?
Well, there's a story around that.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. Hey, kiddies, just gather around the campfire.
Yeah. Tequila, actually.
Oh, tequila was your thing, huh?
No, it wasn't. See, that's the thing. No, I said I had a story about that.
Doesn't mean we're going to hear the story, but or maybe.
No. Well, it oddly enough, it involved me and the U.S. Navy and tequila, and it was endless tequila because they were buying, and did not end well. Let's put it this way. I think it was about 4 days later I actually achieved some semblance of consciousness again. Just not good. And I'll tell you, even today, if I'm in a pub somewhere, or if I'm like somebody just opens up tequila and I smell it, it's over. Like I recoil still. So yeah.
You back up like Homer Simpson into the bushes.
Oh yeah. No, it's crazy. Never got into any of that stuff. Did drugs and stuff again as a teen too, but that kind of I don't know, got boring for me. And I don't know. I just found I could do more with coffee.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, you're high on life and coffee, so I respect that. Yeah. Absolutely. So you're saving a whole lot of money that you'd be otherwise spending on booze. That's for sure. So, But real quick, speaking of booze here, Professor Savage Dad is in the live chat. Thanks a lot, buddy, for joining in here. And says my man Van reminded me to get an Oktoberfest. All right, yeah. Is that a Samuel Adams Oktoberfest or something else? Because there's plenty of other beer brewers out there that make Oktoberfest beer as well. And he's got thoughts about Gina Carano too. His theory is Gina will open up her own studio. Okay, I mean maybe Disney's throwing enough money at her to open up her own studio there. And it says Disney always loved children. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know right there, but yeah, I mean, they say success is the best revenge, and if Gina Carano can open up a studio and come up with some quality stuff, I mean, maybe she can get some bigger names out of Hollywood. I mean, I know that they're the Dean Canes, and the who was that? The guy was on. I always see him on like the Daily Wire movies there, but he was in a lot of big movies. There's James Woods and that guy. I'm surprised that James Woods hasn't been like in a Daily Wire movie or something like that, or a Blaze movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, don't forget, everybody's forgetting the powerhouse, Mel Gibson. He'd be all over that.
Oh yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like he has been persona non grata since 2005, and he has a little anti-Jew wig out there, and which he should have been forgiven for that. I mean, we all have our low moments right there. I mean, it's not like he pulled a Roman Polanski or something like that, or
right.
Yeah. But if his politics were the politics that they liked, they would have let him off there. But yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah, I thought it was funny when Trump was like, yeah, Mel Gibson and Sly Stallone, and I think John Voight was the third one. Like, yeah, they're my Hollywood ambassadors. And someone asked Mel Gibson, like, hey, so when did you get notified that you're one of Trump's ambassadors to Hollywood? And Mel Gibson's like right now when you told me. Just Trump just proclaimed it like a king, like, Mel Gibson, you shall be my royal envoy to Hollywood.
That's the funny thing about that, because it's very interesting you bring that up, because nobody else brings this up, and I've often sat there and wondered, well, okay, I'm looking at the rest of the cabinet. They're not really doing anything. Tom Homan is the only guy who's working 16-hour days.
Love that
guy. Yeah, me too. Everybody else is sitting on their fingers and putting stuff on their desk and being on Fox News, which is where they came from, so they're kind of still there. Yeah. So nothing's changed there. And then he's named these three as the great wizards of the Hollywood. And have you seen them say or do anything to this position? No, I have not.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's. I mean, it would be nice. It'd be nice if Gina Carano could get somebody like that. Like, I mean, I could see her like maybe getting a Mark Wahlberg, because he's kind of more on because I want to see more of them. The ones with kind of more gravitas than the ones where their career kind of ended, and now they're kind of sauntering on over to the conservative side here. Like Christy Swanson, it's been a long time since she played Buffy, and she was in Adam Sandler movies. It's been a long time, and so her career was pretty much over with anyway. And so now she's coming on over to the conservative side. I would like to see someone that's still has high notoriety in Hollywood, like a Chris Pratt or Mark Wahlberg, to come on over and to our side. I think like Angel Studios, I think, is the closest to that, because they one of the recent movies, they had an actor in one of their movies that really surprised me. Like, holy shit, you guys got that guy there? I would have never thought that. I didn't know that guy had conservative leanings, or he is at least not afraid of the backlash of being in an Angel Studios movie there. But I think that they're coming pretty close to getting some of the big time actors and actresses right there, because I think that the movies that they come out with, they're not overtly like faith-based movies or conservative propaganda or anything like that. They're just like good stories about historical stories in life and that kind of thing. Like Cabrini, I think Cabrini was a pretty good movie there. So, but it's a movie where it's not like, yeah, Cabrini, thanks for coming to our movie, and halfway through the movie, it's like it's sending a not so hidden message to always vote for your conservative presidents or something. It's nothing like that. It's very objective there. So maybe they could get a Mark Wahlberg or a Chris Pratt or somebody like that. So,
well, Chris Pratt is kind of an interesting one. He's actually very much like William Shatner. Doesn't talk politics. Does not.
Right.
Sorry, not happening. Right?
Yeah. He's smart with that. Same with Tom Cruise. There Tom Cruise, like you never hear Tom Cruise's political opinion, because he's smart enough to know, like, I'm a fucking actor. All right. I'm not Tucker Carlson. All right. I'm not. Yeah. You don't need to hear my political opinion. I know that you want like a big time celebrity to be your cheerleader and to be able to show, like, hey, Tom Cruise agrees with what I'm saying. Tom Cruise does. Yeah. He thinks that, you should trans the kids as young as 3 years old. Tom Cruise thinks that, Tom Cruise is well aware that you want him just to be, to give your opinion, your take, your worldview some cachet there. And Tom Cruise, wisely enough, tells them guys to go screw themselves. And he's right. He's smart enough to know, I'm gonna stay in my lane. All right. I jump out of airplanes for a living, and I read off words that other people write for me to say. I'm an adult pretender, and he's well aware of it. So,
well, you got to remember too. Look at some of the industry leaders, we shall say, who have come out. Like, let's look at Kevin Costner for a minute. This is the Field of Dreams guy himself, and then he comes out as un-American. Who knew? And then, don't forget what Sam Elliott's done to himself.
Oh God, yeah.
Right?
Oh God,
actually shilling for Kamala Harris, the one who can't put like 2 and 1 together.
Right, exactly. How many Marlboros do they give Sam Elliott for that fucking endorsement? Because I can't even picture. I mean, I don't know Sam Elliott personally, but it just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that Kamala would appeal to him.
No.
So.
No, and you got to remember too. You got to think, if you're one of these actor dudes, if I come out and say this for you, how much money am I going to lose for the rest of my career? Because that's what you're going to have to pay me right now, and then some, if you have any hope of getting me to do anything.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. You have to compensate me for the money that I'm going to lose.
Yeah,
for doing this, because I am going to lose half of my fan base. Right there. So you better make me make me right. They're making right with me right there. So yeah. And I think a lot of it actually, thinking about it a little bit more, I think it's not so much he was a fan of Kamala as he hated Trump. Because I think I think a lot of people that hate Trump are very stoic, very reserved people, and Trump is the exact opposite. He's not stoic, he's not reserved. Or anything like that. He's the opposite of a James Comey or a Sam Elliott or a Leo Panetta. These are guys that are like very stoic, and they consider themselves at high in stature, and I carry myself with a regality, and I'm very that kind of thing. And Trump is the exact opposite. Like Trump's over here hugging the American flag and showing up at UFC fights, and it's just, he's as unregal as you can get. He's as unstoic as you can get, and I think there's that personality clash between between Donald Trump and the more stoic guys like Clapper and Sam Elliott, because Sam Elliott comes off as a very stoic, reserved kind of guy. He's like, I got no time for muss and fuss and dilly-dally and horseplay, that kind of thing. Where Trump, that's all he does is horseplay. So I don't know. So maybe that was it. He wasn't so much in love with Kamala and her fucking quirky shit. He just hates Donald Trump. And so what better way of getting back at your enemy than to endorse your enemy's enemy? So there you go.
Yeah.
It's childish. It's sophomoric, but it's like, a lot of these people that hate Trump, they're living proof of the saying, like, getting old is mandatory, growing up is optional. So yeah, they're still in that kind of like, I'm going to show you by siding with the person that you don't like. Take that, You know, there's a lot of that with the Trump haters and the tedious turds. A lot of them are, you know, like the people whose mission it is to disagree with Trump on whatever. You know, Trump says I like vanilla ice cream. They're like, I love chocolate ice cream, even though maybe vanilla was their favorite, but now chocolate is suddenly their new favorite because Trump loves vanilla. You know, so it's just very sophomoric and very childlike, but it's crazy. Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, so let's do this here real quick, and I am gonna do because I run a tight ship here, Crash. There as I'm sure you could tell. I got to mention the Movies Merica merch. Movies Merica merch. You get like stuff like Movies Merica T-shirts, Movies Merica shot glasses, flasks, pint glasses, jewelry. Crash, you can even get a pair of yoga pants, for God's sakes, with Movies Merica on it. I mean, you get movies on your left ass cheek and Merica on your right ass cheek. So anytime you want me to hook you up with some of them there, Crash, I'll get you a good deal, man.
I'll let you know.
I'll get right on it. So, but we're making it very easy for everyone to get their hands on some Movies Merica merch. I just got to click on the merch link down in the description. Click on that, and you'll see the Movies Merica merch. You might have to do a little scrolling down a little bit to see the majority of it, but you should see it there. And then once you pick out your merch and get it into the old shopping cart, then put in promo code MOVIES, and you're going to get free shipping and all that stuff. So I don't care if you put $5,000 worth of Movies Merica merch in there. You get free shipping on that shit, all right? And, you know, that's because, you know, I like to do nice things for people that are nice enough to get themselves some Movies Merica merch, or maybe not even get themselves some Movies Merica merch. Maybe you're getting your cousin Sal those yoga pants. God, I hope to God you're getting your grandma those yoga pants. Maybe you're getting your grandma some pint glasses or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, nothing says I love you, Grandma, like some Movies Merica pint glasses. There you go. So, so there you go. Give the gift of Movies Merica merch. Now, guys, I wouldn't suggest giving Movies Merica merch to your beautiful bride on your anniversary. If you want to, that's cool. It's your couch you'll be sleeping on. So, you know, I wouldn't be doing that. So you don't say I didn't warn you. That's for sure. There, but yeah, grab yourself some Movies Merica merch right there. And then what I'm going to do right now here real quick, because I don't want you to miss this there before you got to go there, Crashes. I'm going to do my favorite segment of every Thursday night show that I do, the Movies Merica Spoiler Warning Show. And that is the movie military moments that I do. And that's where I give myself the opportunity to pay tribute, to pay honor to anyone that has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, no matter what the conflict is. World War II, Korea, you have you. And so some might be wondering what the connection is between movies and reviewing movies and paying tribute to recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor. And it's a good question. And I'm not going to answer that right now. I will answer that right after we do the intro right here. But let me put my good friend Crash down here. There we go. And yes, explanation forthcoming after this. Okay, I owe you an explanation here. So the connection between movies and honoring these veterans here, it goes down like this. Okay, so as you would imagine, if you're awarded a Congressional Medal of Honor, you didn't get it for being the best ass kisser on base or being the best letter sorter at the base post office, or being the best marcher in formation. No, you got it for doing something where if you saw it there live with your own eyes, it would be this monumental, like this ungodly thing that you would never have expected to see in your life, like this feast for the eyes, right? So, say you're air cav, in Vietnam, you're a soldier on the ground, and there's a helicopter pilot, and he keeps landing in the hot LZ. His chopper's taking fire. He's taking RPG rounds and fire from the VC, and that helicopter doesn't care. He's selfless. He's not taking his life into account because he wants to get the wounded on his helicopter, get them evac, and he wants to get you the supplies you desperately need: ammo, water, food, what have you. Okay, and you're looking at this helicopter, probably like, oh my God, look at this guy. This guy's a fucking hero. Holy shit, I can't believe I'm seeing this. My God, he's taking so much fire. I love that guy. All right, or you're on the beaches of Iwo Jima, and you're fighting the Japs, and you guys see your buddies over there, and you got a bunch of Japs there in that pillbox, and they're about to mow down your buddies, with their weaponry, and you're like, okay, I don't have any more rounds, I'm out, but all I have is this grenade right here, and so you pull the pin on that grenade, you run in there, and you take out all those Japs right there, and then you basically you lose your life, but you save your buddy's life, and you're an onlooker, and you see that guy do that, you see that Marine do that, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe the heroism I just witnessed. Holy shit. And if you saw it on a big movie screen right in front of you, it would be a pretty fucking cool movie military moment. And that's the connection right there. Okay, everybody? So for this movie military moment, I'm going to pay tribute to one hospital corpsman, third class, Edward Clyde Ted Benfold. No, not Benfold's 5, just Benfold. Okay, so and I'll repeat that name because I know that was a mouthful right there. Okay, but not until we give the hospital corpsman third class some appropriate movie military moment music. So let's do this. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay tribute to one hospital corpsman, third class Edward Clyde Ted Benfold, who fought in the Korean War. And let's learn more about hospital corpsman, third class Benfold, shall we? For gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life, above and beyond the call of duty, while serving in operations against enemy aggressor forces. When his company was subjected to heavy artillery and mortar barrages, followed by a determined assault during the hours of darkness by an enemy force estimated at battalion strength, hospital corpsman third class Benfold resolutely moved from position to position in the face of intense hostile fire, treating the wounded and lending words of encouragement, leaving the protection of his shelter position to treat the wounded when the platoon area in which he was working was attacked from both the front and the rear. He moved forward to an exposed ridgeline where he observed 2 Marines in a large crater. As he approached the 2 men to determine their condition, an enemy soldier threw 2 grenades into the crater while 2 other enemy charged the position. Picking up a grenade in each hand, Benfold leaped out of the crater and hurled himself against the onrushing hostile soldiers, pushing their grenades against their chest and killing both the attackers. Mortally wounded while carrying out this heroic act, Benfold, by his great personal valor and a resolute spirit of self-sacrifice in the face of almost certain death, was directly responsible for saving the lives of his 2 comrades. His exceptional courage reflects the highest credit upon himself and enhances the finest traditions of the U.S. Naval Service. He gallantly gave his life for others, and we salute you, hospital corpsman, third class, Edward Clyde Ted Benfold, in this movie military moment. Godspeed to you, sir, for everything that you did for you and your buddies. And that has been the movie military moments. All right. So, yeah, I take great pride and pleasure in doing those tributes to our great service people that have been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And you don't have to wait for me to do these movie military moment segments to learn more about these heroes. You can check out the website, cmohs.org/recipients. Again, that's cmohs.org/recipients to check that out right there. And with that, that has been the movie Military Moment. All right, there we go. So, yep, Crash. I don't know if you could tell that I like doing that segment. I rather enjoy doing that.
Yeah. And what a story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I can't say for certain I would have that same kind of courage. Like, grab those grenades and run up to those guys and press it to their chests, and then you're in the blast area of that too. And I mean, like, those two guys that he killed, it sounds like they died right away. His ass, he had to suffer from the damage to his body from that. He didn't die right away. So, yeah, just salute to that guy right there. So they just, I don't know, I was about to say they don't make them like him anymore, but I do hear about stories of heroism, from, the GWAT and, more recent wars and that kind of thing there. I mean, if you go to that CMOHS.org, you'll see, the stories of heroism from the Iraq War and Afghanistan and all of that stuff there. All right, here we go. Let's check the live chat. Make sure I haven't left anybody out and neglected anybody, because I don't want to be that guy. It's like I'm not like Steven Crowder, or some show like that where you get so many live or so many comments. People on live chat that you can ignore them all, because there's no fucking feasible way in God's green earth that you're going to be able to acknowledge every single one of them. So I'm not quite to that point yet. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll be getting those Crowder numbers, but right. So yeah,
no, I believe you. Yeah.
You got to believe in yourself, right? You got to believe in yourself.
If you don't, nobody else will.
Exactly. There you got to be your best salesman. But real quick here, just wanted to remind everybody that if you are appreciating what I'm doing in any capacity enough to maybe throw a buck or two my way, maybe you like the movie Military Moments segment there, maybe you like being turned on to a new beer with a brew review time, or it's not so much this episode, but my Sunday episodes. That's when I do my Is This Movie a Woke After School Special segments. I do that to warn anybody before they go out and they spend their hard-earned cash, whether a movie is a woke after school special and you're in for a lecture, from the wokenati, or are you in for an actually good, entertaining time, and your money should be spent on that. If you appreciate any of those things that I do enough to throw, some shekels my way, a buck or two or 100, whatever, then you can definitely do that. If you're on Rumble, you can do that by going down by where you type in your live chat message and click on the $ button, and it'll just ask you how much you want to donate there. Very simple, very easy. And then if you're on the YouTube or in the tube of views, you can do that via what they call a super chat, and it works very similarly. Down by where you type in your live chat message, just click the button with a dollar bill on it. It'll ask you how much you want to throw this knucklehead's way, and that's it. Very simple, very easy, and that is enough begging for money from me right there. I feel dirty even saying that much. Okay, so.
All right, now let me start. I'll go for an hour. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pay me, bitch. Put that money in my hand. There you go. All right, so I've got another segment here. This might take a little bit, so I don't know if you need to wrap it up here. Crash,
I do, actually. I'm going to be on the air in about 30 minutes here, so.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to do my top 5 laugh-a-minute comedies here. So this might take longer than that, but I leave it completely up to you if you need to say sayonara now, or if you want to check, if you want to stick around for that. So
I'd love to stick around for it, but I just don't have the time. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, nope, I appreciate that right there. Exactly. Yeah, Crash has got to punch in. He's got his own awesome show out there. So check it out, Crash at night on Rumble there. So, and yeah, Crash, anything that you want to plug right now, inform us of any projects you have, like what time your show comes on, all that stuff. The floor is yours, good sir.
That just Crash at night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours. Got the Sketchy Jesus on tonight. Always good conversations. And check out FuryCast.com for all the great shows. And I think that's it.
Excellent. Outstanding right there. I like that right there. I'm going to try this. Hey, that's the first time I ever used a sound effect through this software right here.
There
I
you
like
go.
it. Apparently, I have to click it again and stop it.
Oh, is that what it is? I was wondering why it's so abrupt.
Yeah, exactly. Let me try this real quick. There we go. Hey, there we go. I just wanted to see. You know, I opened up a can of worms here, Crash, while you're on here, because now I'm going to start playing with these sound effects. Yep, there we go. I'm like, I'm 53 years old, but I'm really only 3 years old. I see something. Ooh, something makes noise. I want to keep playing with it.
Yep. Same here.
Oh yeah, exactly, right there. We're dudes. We never grow up, right? So, Yep. But hey, Crash, I appreciate you jumping on the show. I'd love to have you back on here again. You know, I'm going to do a lot more movie reviews, and anytime you see a movie that's like, oh, he's going to review that. Oh, dude, I want to come on and talk about that. Please let me know.
I will do.
And we'll get you back on.
Absolutely, will do. And thank you, Ben, for everything. Great being here as always. And thank you. Everybody have a good night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Give it up, everyone, for him again. There we go. All right. That was one Crash right there, kicking ass and taking names. There we go. I could conceivably let that applause last for like another 5 minutes, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. So not going to do it. All right. So let's do this here real quick. And yeah, like I said, I teased it before. And this is going to be my top 5 laugh-a-minute comedies segment. It's been a while. It's been a minute since I did a top 5 list here on the show, and I just wanted to bring it back here. So let's get this going on here, and there we go. My top 5 laugh-a-minute comedies. Now, I should preface this by saying, so what I qualify a laugh-a-minute comedy as is those comedic movies where it's just full of sight gags and word jokes and just left and right nonstop. Okay. Like think of stuff like Hot Shots, like Spaceballs, stuff like that. Those kind of movies where it's just like a bunch of sight gags and goofy shit going on, all of that stuff right there. Okay. So let's move on here with that. And so I'm going to go down from 5 down to 1. All right. And so my number 5 laugh-a-minute comedy will be Hot Shots Part 2 right there. And not the original one, but Part 2. And I guess they were really hoping that your average American knew that 2 meant number 2 in French there. So, but this one I like. I think this is even better than the original Hot Shots here. This is Charlie Sheen way before he started talking about Tiger Blood and all of that crazy shit. Okay. And so this is one where, he plays Topper Harley. And the first one, he was kind of trying to do more of a Maverick. Yeah, Pete Maverick Mitchell. In this one, he's doing more of the Rambo thing. And they do a lot of parodying of a lot of the movies around that time. They take on Basic Instinct and No Way Out and Rambo 3. And it's pretty good movie. I like it. And some of my favorite parts of Hot Shots Part 2 is the part where he's mowing guys down with his M60, and they start doing like the kill meter or the murder meters. They start counting down the body count there, and then suddenly it's like more deaths than Total Recall, more deaths than RoboCop, and then it finally says like bloodiest movie ever, I just like that segment. And then the whole segment where he's in the back of the limousine with the hot chick played by Brenda Backey, or however you say her last name. And it's a play on the whole limo sex scene in No Way Out with Kevin Costner and Sean Young. And I thought that scene was pretty funny, where the limo driver is like, he's got this camera out there, and he's got the popcorn and the 3D glasses. He's watching them go to town in the back of his limo. I thought that was a pretty funny segment there. And of course, you got the very famous scene in Hot Shots Part 2 where Charlie Sheen is on one boat and Martin Sheen's on another boat. And they start, you start hearing the monologues of Charlie Sheen from Platoon. You start hearing the monologue from Martin Sheen from Apocalypse Now, and the boats go right by each other, and Charlie Sheen and Martin Sheen, of course, they're father and son. They point at each other. I loved you in Wall Street. Just that whole funny scene there, kind of an inside joke or whatever. Maybe not so inside, but anyway. But if you'd have to like movies and have seen Wall Street to know what that joke was. If you didn't, you're like, I don't get, why is everyone laughing? I have no idea going on right now. So this one was Hot Shots Part 2. Here, let me double check. I'm going to cheat here real quick. And let me check something out here. I know one of the Zuckers, or maybe Jim Abrahams. So someone associated with like the Naked Gun and Airplane and all that had something to do with Hot Shots Part 2 there. I think, what was it? Let's see. So Jim Abrahams, okay. Yeah, so Jim Abrahams, who was one of the creators of Airplane and the Kentucky Fried Movie and Top Secret and all those movies. Yeah, he was involved with it. And then Pat Proft was one of the writers. And I'll always remember Pat Proft for being associated with the Police Academy movies and Bachelor Party. And, great comedy classics like that right there. So gotta love it. But that's Hot Shots Part 2. That's my number 5 movie right there. And moving on down the countdown to sound like Casey Kasem is number 4 is Spaceballs. Spaceballs from the legendary Mel Brooks there. And of course, this is a take on Star Wars and Star Trek. And, we've got the late, great John Candy there as Mog. He's part man, he's part dog. He's his own best friend. Okay, there we go. And then the late, great Joan Rivers there plays the robot there. I think, what was her name? Like Rosie or something like that. Then we have Daphne Zuniga there. Like, does anybody remember Daphne Zuniga from the 80s? She was like in The Sure Thing and Spaceballs. I think she was like a Melrose Place in the 90s. And then she just kind of went away. Okay. To be gone forever. And then we got Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman here playing Lone Star. Way before he was the president in Independence Day. And he was in more serious movies than Spaceballs here. But it's a great movie. It was about time that someone did a parody of Star Wars. And so we got, and they did it, Mel Brooks knocked it out of the park with what he brought here with Spaceballs here and parodying Star Wars. And pretty soon we're going to get Spaceballs 2, all these number of years later on. Okay, because Spaceballs original one came out in 87, and here we are in 2025. We're going to get Spaceballs 2 finally, either this year. I think it's next year. I think next year at the earliest is when we're getting Spaceballs 2. I just hope to God they don't woke it up. Okay, I'm hoping that woke has gone the way of the Velociraptor enough to where even Mel Brooks is smart enough to go, yes, all right, if I want this to be a hit, let's not alienate most of the audience that would love Spaceballs by putting a bunch of woke shit in it. Okay, so woke had its day. It's been put down like old Yeller behind the barn, as it should. It still creeps in there every once in a while, but so I think hopefully Mel Brooks, as old as he is, hopefully got the memo, and now he's going to do Spaceballs 2, and he's going to make it to where it's just meant for entertaining and providing enjoyment, and that's it. No lectures, no lessons, no preaching, no nothing. Okay, and again, I wouldn't want it to preach about being conservative or being a Trump. I wouldn't want it to put that messaging out there at all. I want it to be neutral, not political, just one nonstop laugh fest. That's all I want for Spaceballs 2. But as far as Spaceballs 1, great movie. It had Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. This is the movie that introduced us to ludicrous speed. And then we have Lone Star and his good buddy Mog. They're like flying around space, in their space Winnebago. And they've got Princess Vespa there, again played by Daphne Zuniga, and she's from the planet Druria, and there's just all kinds of funny gags in this. Mel Gibson, that'd be funny. Mel Brooks plays Yogurt. He's the Spaceballs version of Yoda, but all kinds of like great shit in Spaceballs. So that's why it's a classic. This tells you how old I am. I saw Spaceballs in the movie theater when it first came out there. So and so that tells you I am no spring chicken for sure there. But Spaceballs, check that out here. Again, we'll be getting Spaceballs 2 pretty soon, regrettably without John Candy and Joan Rivers there. All right. So that brings us to number 3. And that would be Top Secret. Yes. So Top Secret. This comes to us from Zaz, Zucker, Abrahams, and Zucker, the airplane crew here. And this, as you can tell from the picture, starred, at least for one part, the late, great Val Kilmer that we lost way too soon here recently. And this is the first Val Kilmer movie that started with the word top. Okay. He was in another movie that started with the word top. That's a little bit more famous than Top Secret there. Let me know in the live chat if you know what movie I'm talking about right there. But in this one, Val Kilmer is the star of the show. This is his very first movie he was ever in, and he stars in it. Okay. And he plays Nick Rivers in this. And this is so it's not a parody of Star Wars. It's not like Airplane, where it's a parody of like 70s disaster movies, or like The Naked Gun, where it's a parody of police procedurals. This is a parody of kind of like old school espionage, murder mystery noir kind of like movies where there's a lot of spies and intrigue and that kind of movies like that from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Also, I guess from the 50s and 60s and maybe 40s there. So kind of think Casablanca, The Maltese Falcon, stuff like that. Okay. And it's also like it came out while we still had the Cold War coming out. So it's not exactly timeless because they make mention of like East Berlin and West Berlin, and we don't have an East Berlin or West Berlin anymore. Okay. But that it doesn't stop the movie from being funny. But yeah, I've got Nick Rivers, and he plays like an American rock and roll star. I think Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis, right? And all the chicks want him, and all the dudes want to be him, right? And so the Germans are holding like this big arts festival or big cultural festival, right? And they're holding it because they're trying to distract the world's attention from a German plot to take over the world, so to speak, right? And so originally the Americans were supposed to send over like Leonard Bernstein or something like that to the cultural festival, and he had to cancel or he dies or something like that. And so they have to find so the Americans are like, hey, we're going to send somebody else over. We're going to send this Nick Rivers guy. He's like Elvis, and he's coming over. He's going to be part of your German cultural festival. And so Nick Rivers comes over to Germany. He soon finds out that that the Germans are up to no good, and he meets this hot girl. She's a member of the underground who's trying to foil the plot, and the movie just kind of takes off from there, where Nick Rivers thinks that he's just going to be playing his tunes during this German cultural festival, but instead he gets embroiled to great funny effect with this fight against this German plot to take over the world. And it's just got all kinds of great sight gags with it. There are a lot of great puns and verbal jokes and all of that kind of good stuff there. And it also, it's like Val Kilmer gets a chance to show his dancing talents and his singing talents because, of course, Nick Rivers is like Elvis, kind of like American rock star. So they have to, Zaz, Zucker, Abraham Zucker, the one who made this movie. Yeah, they had to, write some fake songs that sound like something that Elvis would have sang. So they made up these fake songs like "Skeet Surfing" and "How Silly Can You Get," and all these fake Elvis-like songs. And Val Kilmer, he learned how to sing all those songs himself there because he's all around talent. He's a good actor, but if you've heard, Val Kilmer had a great singing voice as well, and so he really showed like what a big star that he inevitably was going to be because he did Top Secret. Not long after this, he was in Real Genius, another movie he starred in, and then inevitably got the role as Iceman, Tom Kazansky, Iceman in Top Gun there. But one of the movies that put him on the map with casting directors is Top Secret, and him playing Nick Rivers. And this movie's got all kinds of like legendary actors. Omar Sharif is in it. I'm trying to think of like anybody notable that was in it. It's actually, it's weird. So there's a character towards the end of the movie where he's like this long lost character that returns, and the dude is a spitting image of like Tom Hanks, except he's got blonde curly hair. He looks like Tom Hanks back in the 80s. Okay, remember when Tom Hanks had like the brown Jufro going on, back in the 80s, and so he looks like a spitting image of Tom Hanks, but his Jufro is blonde, not brown. There, it's not Tom Hanks. Believe me, I've checked, but it's kind of interesting. Oh, is that Tom Hanks right there? My God, it looks a spitting image of him there. This movie also has like a fantastic scenes where you're like, how did they put that together? How did they stage that? Like, there's a whole underwater fight scene where they stage underwater in this river, like this old Western style saloon with a bar and a hot, bartender there, and or like with a bartender, and then there's like a hot, a lady of the night there, and then they got tables where a bunch of cowboys are sitting around playing cards. This is all underwater, where Val Kilmer's Nick Rivers character and this other character are like fighting each other underwater, like they're in this cowboy saloon from the Old West. And it's really cool how they put that together. I'm like, holy my God, they put a lot in this movie here. And then other cool sequences in this movie, but Val Kilmer is hilarious in this movie. And so if you see him in this movie, maybe it won't be the same for you, but for me, when he got cast as Iceman in Top Gun, I'm like, Val Kilmer, the same guy I know from Top Secret as Nick Rivers, and then also he was in Real Genius. What the hell? He's this goofy, funny, charming, affable guy who's in these comedy movies. He's kind of like this big goof off dude, and here he is, and he's like, he's got the role of like the most badass, Navy pilot at Top Gun. Like, all right, well, it's kind of surreal to watch this. And so even nowadays, when I watch Top Gun and I see Val Kilmer, as like this most badass pilot at Top Gun, the Iceman, and just think back to him being Nick Rivers in Top Secret, and being, I forget what his name was in Real Genius. Just weird, but in a good way. It just shows that Val Kilmer had range there. But and if you haven't seen it already, check out the documentary Val on I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Val. It's a documentary that Val Kilmer made, and it shows you some really cool background and behind the scenes stuff of Val Kilmer just throughout his whole life. It's really fascinating, like early in his life, even before he did Top Secret, where it showed like he was an up and coming actor in New York, and he was hanging out with his fellow up and coming actors like Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn, just hanging out with them. And then, of course, obviously Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn went off to, find superstardom, and then Val Kilmer eventually did as well. But yeah, check out Val on Amazon Prime there. Absolutely. So, all right. So, of course, that was number 3 here, if I can count. And so that takes us to number 2, of course. Hey, I can do math. And that would be, of course, The Naked Gun. Yes, The Naked Gun. Nothing to see here, folks. Please disperse. Nothing to see here. There's nothing. Please clear out. All right, here we go. The original Naked Gun from 1988 with the late, great, legendary Leslie Nielsen himself playing Frank Drebin here. And this is him He's redoing his character, or he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's basically playing his character again, Frank Drebin, from the very short-lived TV series on ABC called Police Squad. Police Squad only lasted for 6 episodes on ABC back in the early '80s, but it was beloved enough to where Zucker or Zaz for short, as I keep saying, wanted to make a full-length movie on about Police Squad and Frank Drebin and the other assorted cast of characters there. So they made The Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad, and lucky for them, they decided to do it because it became a massive hit. It's a massive hit. It's a beloved, funny movie. Again, it definitely fits the description of laugh a minute, probably even laugh every 15 seconds. It's that, comes in that hot and heavy with all the jokes in it there. And even from the beginning, they waste no time, because you see Frank Drebin, he's kicking Saddam's ass and the Ayatollah's ass and all these terrorists there at the very, at the beginning of the movie. And then, of course, it rolls into the famous opening credits sequence there where you get the just get the whole Naked Gun theme. The police car driving through everything. It's like the police car is driving on a hockey rink, and then in a girl's locker room, and up on a roller coaster. All that crazy shit. I just love it. It's fucking awesome. But and then just some of the more famous moments of Naked Gun, like everywhere I look, something reminds me of her. And they drive by the tanks. They look like a couple of tits sticking up out of the ground. Then you get the famous, the baseball game where, Leslie Nielsen pretends to be the opera singer Enrico Palazzo. And then you get, Ricardo Montalban playing the villain there. And then, of course, the still beautiful Priscilla Presley forget what her name was in The Naked Gun. Not important. But apparently she had a nice beaver in The Naked Gun there. But another good sight gag in this movie. She's climbing up the ladder to get a book or something like that, and he's looking up her dress and a nice beaver. Thanks, I just had it stuffed. And then she hands him down the stuffed the stuffed beaver. Just hilarity nonstop. It never stops. Funniness ensues constantly with the Naked Gun. And of course, this is the first Naked Gun, so it introduced us to some guy named O.J. Simpson playing Nordberg in the first Naked Gun, and of course he went on to be in the second and third Naked Gun. And then I don't think we ever heard much from O.J. after the third Naked Gun movie. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. He never really did anything of a note after that. Anyway, all right. So, but yeah, check out the Naked Gun if you haven't. If by some miracle you have not seen the Naked Gun, God, where have you been? What have you been? Under a rock or living on Mars? Like, got to go see the original Naked Gun from 1988, and then of course, I would watch. This is the order I would watch the Naked Gun movies in. I'd watch Naked Gun, the original, the first one, Naked Gun 33rd and the third. The brand new Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson, and then Naked Gun 2.5 that's the order I would watch those in there. So basically, your best to worst there. But you'll still be laughing by the end. By the time you're done watching those classic movies right there. I'm trying to think of anything else about the Naked Gun that I need to share here. I mean, I think that just all around. Great movie there. Leslie Nielsen, I'm glad that Leslie Nielsen had the chance to, make these movies a hit. And then also it launched Leslie Nielsen to do a number of other funny movies. And it did Spy Hard and what was the one? Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and all these other, comedic movies. I think it was in Scary Movie 3 and 4. I mean, so Leslie Nielsen was known for being like this all around hilarious guy, this go-to comedic actor in his golden years, and Liam Neeson with the new Naked Gun. I think he's trying to follow in Leslie Nielsen's footsteps. He's done all his serious roles, and so now he's going to be like this go-to comedy actor that we'll see in maybe some other funny movies there. But for now, we're talking about the Naked Gun, 1988. But for now, we're not even talking about that movie anymore because we're moving on to the number one movie, the number one laugh-a-minute comedy there. And that movie would be Airplane. Yes, Airplane from 1980 there. And this is really the first laugh-a-minute kind of like sight gag movie that people remember. Okay, now Zaz, they did the movie, the Kentucky Fried Movie. They did that a few years before they did Airplane in 1980. But this is the one that really made a big hit on American culture and in the zeitgeist and really put Zaz on the map and launched them into doing all kinds of other stuff like the Naked Gun movies and Top Secret. Well, they didn't do Airplane 2. That was somebody else. Airplane, just a take, a parody of the 70s disaster movies, like all the airport movies and the Towering Inferno and the Poseidon Adventure movies like that. And now, it'll probably be funnier to you if you did grow up with those movies there. Now, not to say that even if you didn't grow up with all those disaster movies and you didn't grow up in that era, you could still be, one of those young whippersnappers, those Gen Z and Gen Y kids, playing their PlayStation 5200s and playing their rock and roll CDs. You don't have to be that you don't have to be that old, right? You don't have to be that young. Let me rephrase. You don't have to be of a certain age to appreciate these movies. Even Gen Z and Gen Y, I think, will watch Airplane and go, and we'll laugh their ass off. There's parts in the original Airplane that even Gen Z and Gen Y will laugh their ass off. Now they're not going to get all the references, okay, because they have the whole scene, from Saturday Night Fever where they're parodying John Travolta, in Saturday Night Fever, phone booths. They're like, what's a phone booth? What, and stuff like that. There's other dated references in this movie here. So corded phones and stuff like that. But there's plenty of timeless humor in Airplane here that anyone, even a young whippersnappers will like. But this is a movie that the writing for it is just fantastic. They did a fantastic job at knowing that putting actors and also just celebrities from other ilks in this and having them play it straight was going to enhance the comedy. Okay, so you got Robert Stack here on the right. Robert Stack was known for being a serious actor and being in serious movies, and a lot of times playing a bad guy like westerns and stuff. And of course, you had Lloyd Bridges there, the one sniffing the glue on the left. Yeah, I guess I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. And so Lloyd Bridges was known for being a serious actor in serious movies and not doing movies like this whatsoever. Very accomplished dramatic actor. And of course, Lloyd Bridges is the father of Jeff Bridges. Okay, and Jeff Bridges, you guys know him, from plenty of movies. He's a big movie actor himself, a big celebrity himself. And then, of course, also the father of Beau Bridges. So you got Jeff Bridges, Beau Bridges, two very famous Hollywood brothers. Jeff Bridges, I would argue, is much bigger than Beau Bridges there, but Jeff Bridges had a massive career of his own there. I think did he win an Oscar? I think he did. I think Jeff Bridges did win an Oscar for what was that? Was it not Wild Heart? Was it Tough Heart or something like that? Anyway, we're not talking about Jeff Bridges. We're talking about Airplane. All right, so there we go. See how I get sidetracked so easily? See, I got to laser focus on Airplane here. But so yeah, Airplane brought in a bunch of like serious actors to really enhance the comedy for Airplane here, and so you get Peter Graves is in this from Mission Impossible. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, from the NBA, from the Lakers, and he plays the co-pilot. Barbara Billingsley, who played the mother in Leave It to Beaver. That's another reference that like Gen Z and Gen Y aren't going to get. They're not going to get how funny it is, that white bread suburban housewife Barbara Billingsley, June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver, knowing how to speak jive. They're not going to get the joke with that. Okay, so or the whole concept of speaking jive, like they're not going to laugh at that. Really, I don't get it. I don't get the joke right there. So hey, anybody got any more Tide Pods I can snort? So there you go. They're not going to get that joke. Okay. So anyway, but you get like all kinds of famous moments in Airplane there. I mean, to this day, I still go on an airplane and I still look for the don't panic sign on the airplane there. And then you get Leslie Nielsen. Of course, Leslie Nielsen is in this movie as well, plays a doctor there. And you get the famous lines like, Shirley, you can't be joking. No, I'm not joking. And don't call me Shirley. What was the other one right there? It's like, we need to get this man to a hospital. Hospital? What is it? Well, it's a big building with a bunch of windows that provides medical care, but you don't need to worry about that right now. So, just good verbal jokes like that there. And then you get the classic situation where the lady's freaking out because she's afraid that the plane's going to crash, and so the lady's like freaking out, wigging out in her chair. And so you get the guy comes up there and slaps her on the face. Calm yourself down, lady. Get a hold of yourself. And you get the whole line of people just lining up with like tire irons and bats with nails, just for their chance to, beat the shit out of her to calm her down. So that's a reference that you'll get if you've seen a bunch of disaster movies, because there's always that moment where someone's freaking out and then somebody comes up there and slaps them and get a hold of yourself, And so I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, famous. And then Robert Hayes, plays like the lead in the movie. Robert Hayes, Julie Haggerty. You get the blow up, the blow up pilot there as well. It was like Oswald or Otis, or I can't remember what the blow up pilot's name was. But apparently, I need to refresh my Airplane memory and check out Airplane there. So, anyway, Airplane. There's a reason it's number one on my Laugh a Minute comedy list here, and it's actually number one on a lot of other people's Laugh a Minute comedy or slapstick comedy lists, or whatever you want to call these kind of movies. Airplane is usually number one with a bullet, at the top of their list right there, and there's a reason it is on their list, and there's a reason why it's number one on my list there. So, but yeah, check out Airplane. I stress to you, check out Airplane if you haven't seen it already. Even if you're young, I mean, don't be afraid. Don't be freaked out that it came out in 1980. It's still good for plenty of laughs in the movie there. So maybe you'll probably laugh just from how old some of the things look in the movie. But it's worth your watch there, Gen Z and Gen Y there. So that is what we have this week for the top 5 Laugh a Minute comedies right there. And let me know how you guys like that. Yeah, I'm digging it right there. It's enough of that. So we're getting ready to wrap up this show here. Absolutely, right there. So, and let me know, hey, in the comments, if you're not watching this live, if you're watching the recording of it, or if you're in the live chat right now on YouTube or Rumble, get in the live chat and let me know what you think of my list. Let me know, hey, man, do you think I'm like, I need to stop doing the drugs that I'm doing? Maybe I'm just doing some hardcore drugs, and you think my top 5 list is dopey and stupid, or hey, maybe you're like, oh, dude, you're a genius. I had the exact same top 5 and in the exact same order. Wow, you're just so wise beyond your years. Like, well, if that's how you feel, definitely put that comment in the comment section there or in the live chat. By all means, I am not above being buttered up. That's for sure. I like to bask in praise just as much as everybody else there. All right. So, okay. So next week, the movie for the Movies Merica episodes will be the brand new spanking movie from the director of Barbarian. Okay, maybe some of you saw the horror movie Barbarian a few years ago. I know my man Sean, if he's still here listening or in the live chat, I know Sean saw Barbarian and he liked it, and I love Barbarian as well. But yeah, the director of that movie, Zach Kreger, has a brand new movie, his first movie since Barbarians, and it's called Weapons. Okay, and it comes out this weekend, and it stars Josh Brolin and what's her Julie? I can't remember what her name is. Anyway, it's not important. I don't think she's that great of an actress, but she just played the female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four, but she's a star in Weapons as well. But it's supposed to be a horror movie, and so I'm going to check that out this weekend. So this Sunday's Movies Merica live show that always comes on at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific will be all about Weapons. Okay, the movie, not specific weapons. All right, I'm not Brandon Herrera there. I'm just a movie called Weapons, and so I'm God, please, hope, please, God, please make this a good movie, please. Okay, make it 2 good movies in a row. There, 2 weeks in a row of a good movie. That would be fantastic because I had plenty of weeks before that where the movies were very snoozeworthy. Fantastic Four, Superman. There you go. So yeah, Weapons, and then of course that means if the Sunday show is about weapons, then a week from now, the Movies Merica spoiler warning show will be about weapons as well, and that's when we'll be doing a deep dive. So let anybody that you even slightly suspect is into movies, send them the link to the episodes there, or send them a link to my page here there, so they can see all my future episodes and my past episodes. And God knows there's plenty of past movie review episodes that I've done for the last few years, and those come in handy, of course, for movies that you haven't seen yet that have been out for a few years here. Maybe you're, you and the missus or you and the mister are firing up some Netflix, and you found a movie on Netflix. You're like, man, I don't know if it's any good. I don't know. Hey, honey, let's go to Movies Merica on Rumble or YouTube. Let's see if you did a review of this movie. And then you can check that out. And, maybe I said it sucked. Maybe I said it's great. But at least if I said it sucked, you won't have wasted your time. And you can move on to the next movie and so on. And chances are there's a Movies Merica episode about the next movie that you're thinking about watching there. Okay, so you just got to look up Movies Merica on Rumble or YouTube. So there you go. Check that out. Okay. All right. Again, yeah, Sunday. Movies Merica Live. I know I really want to stress this out. Movies Merica Live, all about weapons, this Sunday afternoon, 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific. And you'll see the links to that show on my X page and Facebook and all that, all under Movies Merica or at Movies Merica, like it says right down there. There you go. All right, let's check out to make sure I didn't miss out on any chats. Good to go there. Ready. All right, get out of there. I'm like screwing shit up already, and that is not good. All right. All right, anyway, so let's do this here real quick as I just am jacking stuff up here. Hate it when you click on the wrong stuff here. All right, so, and I kind of mentioned and I kind of touched on it before, but follow me on X. I'm under at Movies Merica on X and Rumble, and Facebook I'm under Movies Merica, or Van Ebert on Facebook. I'm on Gab under at Movies Merica. Are you sensing a pattern here? They're all under at Movies Merica. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and follow me if you would on those platforms there. And then if you follow me on a platform, well, it's only right that I follow you back. So, and the only way I'm going to know to follow you back is if you DM or direct message me on X on my at Movies Merica profile, and just DM me, just put in there, hey, Van, I followed you on X, I followed you on Facebook, I followed you on Gab, wherever you follow me, and then I will go out there and I will follow you, okay? because it's only right that you follow. It's only right that I return the favor there. Okay, so and again, anybody that you even slightly suspect likes movies, go ahead and send them a link to my page so they can check out my reviews for movies. And it's a very useful tool. Again, like I said before, in my Sunday reviews, I always say whether a movie is a woke after school special to warn you away from movies that are woke after school special, so you don't waste your time and money on that there. So, all right, we're getting ready to wrap up this episode here, but I just want to thank Crash again for crashing, and coming on this show here and coming on this episode to be my very special guest. And check out Crash at Night. If you're watching live, well, Crash at Night is about to start over there. I think you said it's at 10 Eastern, so that would make it 9 Central and 8 Mountain and 7 Pacific, if I've got those time zones right there. So go check out his show. And with that, everybody, I've had enough. You probably had enough. Let's go do some other shit. What do you say there? All right. So with that, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there. All right. So get to it, everybody. All right. Thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.